is we're going to be doing technique transitioning. Okay, and I call it helping your attacker, because that's all you can really do. Then Byron is second section this morning is going to be learning helps for new students.
That's going to be Michael this time.
Pardon?
Or Michael's doing his today.
Oh yeah, Michael's doing this today. This is the old one. Michael is doing Whirlpool theory. And then I'm going to come back with counter assault training part 2, where we take all the simple techniques and use them. And then Thomas is doing shoulder grabs. Okay, and we're going to have an hour and a half on how to grab the shoulder. So anyway, transitioning from one technique to another is a skill that you can really only do reasonably well once you have a good working knowledge of the basic techniques and a good understanding of how the human body moves. Okay, you have to have those two. And the knowledge of going from one technique to another has to be pretty automatic. That if you see a situation, okay, I can do this. It's not, okay, Kay, I'm doing bar Byron here for lack of a better phrase. Better example. Rather than saying, okay, I have a wrist lock and it's not working because he bent his arm, bend your arm. Okay. You see the arm is bent immediately. What can I do? You know, it's not what can I do for an elbow. It's what are my options are. Okay.
Slap him.
Okay. I can take it down. Okay. I can come across this way. My shoulder off. There are a lot of things you can do. It's just having a good enough understanding of the techniques so that you can go from one to the other. There is really no set sequence. The only kind of rule I try to follow is I will work my way up an extremity. Okay, I'll try and use the ankle or the wrist, for example. If that's not working, I'll go to the elbow if I can. If that's not working, I'll go to the shoulder. Same applies to ankle, knee, hip. Okay, you work your way up. Okay. Also be aware that controlling the child joint. If you're not familiar with child and parent joints, all of these are child joints up to the shoulder. Okay, because they all will affect the shoulder joint. The shoulder joint is a parent joint. Unless you want to get really picky and say the backbone is a parent, the parent joint, because everything is ultimately going to affect the backbone and how the torso moves. Okay. Ankle is a child joint, knee is a child joint, hip is a parent joint. Okay. To control the extremity, your best way to control the extremity is to find the smallest child joint. And it can be either the wrist or it can be fingers or whatever, you know. The lower you go, the less work it's going to take and the more effective it's going to be. Okay, or easier it is to set, hold, etc. Okay. If you want to control, and all of these will ultimately move the torso, which is what you're after. If you want to keep the torso from moving, you have to control the upper part of the extremity. Okay. Controlling his forearm is not going to control his body. I can do anything I want with his forearm, and this is not going to control his body. Okay. Once I bring it up in here, we're going to set this up this way. Now I can control his body. I'm controlling his upper arm. Okay. So these are just, some things to keep in mind as you work. Okay. Transitioning also. There are some systems that will train You go from this hold to this hold to this hold to this hold to this hold, and there's nothing wrong with that sequence of training. Okay? The only downside to it, the other sequence is, the way Saki taught us is, well, if one thing isn't working, you see what else is available and you use it, but it's based upon what you know to do, okay? Because when you get in a street situation, it's not going to work to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. Okay, you may have to go from 1 to 4 to 2. And it's just having an awareness of all the techniques that can be used, and okay, one thing doesn't work, what do I do next? Okay. So what we're going to do today is, and we're going to start out with some judo throws, that's pretty basic. And then from there, we're going to go into working with the arm, doing some locks and things of that sort, and working with that, and having you transition from one to the other. There's a lot of techniques with just by moving yourself or a little bit, or moving the attacker's extremity, you can change what you're doing, okay? And it's just practice with this. And I'm going to have you go through certain sequences, but just practicing it in your mind, with a partner, and you don't need to do submissions, you don't need to do throws unless you really are excited about doing all that stuff. You need to get it set, you need to get it set in your mind that you can pull these things up and you have awareness of the body and things will work. Okay. You have to trust in yourself. Okay. So we're going to have you start off with a basic hip throw, and I just stand. That's a good place to stand. Okay. And I'm just going to start off with a basic hip throw. Okay. Now, there's one other thing to be aware of. We tend to think, there's a lot of thinking that says, if the person resists, you can go into this technique or that technique, okay? Occasionally, people will resist on the street. It happens, okay? However, most of the time, because the person is not aware of what you're doing and you're simply helping them, you're not going to run into much of any resistance, okay? I've had 3 or 4 students that have been in street situations. I've been enough of them, mainly when I was a junior high teacher dealing with high school kids who came on campus, or adults that came on campus that needed to be secured before we had campus police. And we had actually have a team of teachers that would show up to deal with these interlopers, for lack of a better phrase. The first thing, in every case, the first thing has worked. If you know the technique, and if the situation is right, the technique will work. And you're not going to have to go through 5 or 6 things for a person on the street. In most cases, it's over in under 5 seconds. You're not going to do pins on the ground. You're not going to do submissions. Okay? If you have to do a throw, every one of my students who's been in a street situation who has had to do a throw, the attacker has been injured and incapacitated from that injury. And it's over in 3 to 5 seconds. Done. They're amazed that it goes so fast. And it's mainly because the attacker does not know how to fall, or worse, does not know how to land. Okay, and that's where the injuries come from, not from the technique. Okay, through some of the joint locks, etc. Yeah, the joint does fracture. And one thing you need to realize is that if you're doing techniques correctly, your goal is not to submit to the person. Your goal is not to, we do in fact take them down and keep them there when they say not take. Okay. Your goal is to get them down fast and probably break whatever, they're going to break whatever breaks. And if their wrist breaks, or their elbow dislocates, or their shoulder dislocates, that's because the technique is supposed to do that. And that is what has surprised, at least for my students. Every student's had to use it on the street. Like, oh my God, the technique worked and it did what you said it would. It's kind of a duh time. So you need to get this idea across to your students. We do submissions out of courtesy to each other and to play with technique. I don't want to say play with technique, but you go from a wrist lock to an elbow to a shoulder just to go through the sequence, because sometimes things don't work. But if you know what you're doing, or reasonably good at what you're doing, odds are it's going to work. Okay, we're going to take, guys, we're standing here, we're going to take a hip throw, just basic hip throw. We're going to do Ippon Tsunagi, because that's good for laps. Okay? And I don't care how you come in, if you want to come Ippon, if you want to come in Rote, if you want to come in under here, if you want to grab the obi, the belt, if you want to, if you want to come this way, trap it this way, I don't care. That's your decision, and you don't have preferences. Okay? But what I want you to do is, I want some moderate resistance for this person, because that's what's going to allow you to switch. But if he cooperates, you can throw him right away. Okay? I mean, we want this guy on the street to say, this guy took a stance. He knows jujitsu, because it's emblazoned across his forehead. Okay? So I'm going to resist it. Okay. So what we're going to have you do, we want you simply, you're going to come in for a hip throw. Okay? From here, I want you to hip throw, set up, and he's not going to let you throw him. Okay? I want you to simply switch to a taitosh. Okay? He's not going to let you throw him. Next one I would have you go to is, we're going to bury the taitosh, and we're going to...
Step forward.
What?
Step forward and make it a deeper tattoo.
Yeah, well, step forward, or I'm simply going to drop to my knee. No waiting. Now, in a street situation, if you get a hip throw and you sense the guy's resisting, you drop to your knee. Or you can do it in a soda, we're doing a soda guard later, because that's going in a different direction. But all I want you to do is, come in your hip throw, he's going to resist, you want to just simply switch to a taitosh. Now, he here, cheeks out. And what I tell my students is, if his thighs are in the middle of your cleavage, you're set for a hip throw. It's basic body. Okay.
One cheek out.
What?
One cheek out.
One cheek out. Okay. Okay. You're here. Okay. And all I'm going to do is simply shift to here. So I'm blocking his ankle. Okay. And this is going to come out. So I'm set. I try again, he's going to resist, and all I do is drop it. Turn to your left. Okay? And I'd like you to do this about 4 or 5 times. And then switch. Okay. Take your time doing it. If you know your techniques, it should go fairly fast. Each of you should be able to do your 5 throws and be done in a couple minutes. Okay? So let's get up. Do we need to do warm-up exercises? Let me borrow Paul here. Because
I'm using it.
everybody picked on Byron yesterday. Okay. Now, some of you are coming out on the tight.
I don't think you might get slapped someday.
Some of you, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Just stretching my leg.
Oh, okay.
Sorry from yesterday. Peter worked me out yesterday.
Some of you are coming in. Now, the taitosh is, and I don't want to spend time teaching the taitosh here. That's not what I'm here for today. When you're coming in here, the hip throws you're blocking with your hip. Taitosh, you're blocking as close to the ankle as possible. If you get this leg back too far and you block his kneecap, okay, first of all, he can do a real easy counter. Okay, and secondly, if you do this throw, you have a good chance of injuring the person's kneecap even in practice. Okay. And also, if you lock the kneecap, you have to deal with trying to throw his whole body, and that's a lot of work. If you can get down to where the ankle is, okay, you should say, line up the toes, and then look to see your kneecap and half of your foot, and this foot's in the right place. Okay, and then from here, all you're going to do is snap your heel down and turn at the left. So it's a little different from a hip throw, but that's not what we're covered for. What some of you are doing is you're coming in whether it be for a hip throw, and you can just go into a drop, or taitoshi into a drop. Some of you are going here, and you're going forward, which takes, there's nothing blocking the ankle except his goodwill to cooperate with you. Okay, so what I want you to do, and we're just going to have you do this for a minute or two, rather than going down, I want you to stand in front of this person, and and go down so that your knee is where your foot was. See, what you're doing is you're taking his base, and because you've got him pulled over, there's no, like the triangle yesterday, right there, puppy. Okay, that's where he's gonna be. But you've gotta be where he was. If you come out, you're gonna get pulled forward, you're gonna get pulled to the right, and all those things. Okay? So I want you to try this, just come out with your partner, try this 2 or 3 times a piece, and just, and here, just drop back down. You've done that a couple, 3 times, I want you to go to the inside, because we're gonna go to the inside next too. Okay? Very good. Okay. Got someone? Okay. When you're doing this, or when you're doing any technique, okay, a lot of students, particularly the lower ranks, will have a tendency to look at their attacker or look at the technique to see that they are doing it right. Okay. And that may be okay for a white belt or a green belt or for running a brand new technique. But you need to get students as fast as possible away from looking at the technique or their attacker and looking in the direction they're going. They have to be able to sense where their attacker is by feel. Okay? They have to be able to visualize the attacker's body in their mind. Okay? And most people know what the human body looks like, either because you have a full-length mirror at home, or you've been to a store and there's been a mannequin over there, you know, God knows what scantily clad outfit. So we all know what the human body looks like, and so there really should not be an issue of where is their leg normally. It's not going to be coming out of their right ear, you know, or things like that. And so they've got to. This all has to be in the mind. Okay, so when you come in and you know you're going to go back up, you're going to go back down, and you know that his knee, foot is going to be right to the outside, inside of your knee, or outside, depending where you go down. Okay. And once you start doing this, you're amazed at how well your mind does it. Okay, we're going to have him come in again, or in hip throw. Just one more from the front. And he's going to resist. Okay. And this time, again, you can just go down to the outside, or you can also go down to the inside. Okay. Now, a lot of instructors say, "Oh, never go out to the inside. Not good technique out of line." Okay. But sometimes you go down and you go in between the feet rather than outside. The technique will still work. Why does it still work?
Drop all that mass that's taking.
All that mass is in front of you, and you're taking his base. Okay, that's why it still works. Okay, so I want you to try just a couple times, going in for a hip throw, having him give you some resistance, and just dropping the right knee in between his legs, not forward, because if you go forward, he is going to land on you, and you will have a learning experience. You will get to taste this mat, which was clean yesterday, so there may be a little the Clorox on it still. Okay, so make sure you turn to your left. Thank you. Let's go. And we're going to go back. Okay. We're going to come in for a hip throw. Oh my God, it isn't working. He's resisting. Okay. It's not going to work now. You've got some options here, and if you want, you can come around and drop down this way, which is not the easiest thing to do. Okay, and it's way low on my list of favorite techniques. Okay, but if this isn't work, there's nothing that prevents you from turning around and doing an outer rear sweeping throw, what we call it soda guard. You're simply coming around and sweeping. Okay, do not drop down into the end zone, because this is not going to work well for you. Now, for newer students, we actually teach this to our white belts. It is one of the easiest sweeps going. Okay. And all we're going to have you do is you get this resistance. He's going to resist. You're going to sweep. Take it. Okay. going to give her a variation on the theme, which we started teaching, I think, about two, maybe 3 years ago. I don't know who came up with this, but it's really cool. If you're coming in here and you do this, but he's really being resistant, maybe he's Leo. Okay. What I want you to do is rather than coming out and saying, oh my God, what do I come around and go forward? Do I do a sweep? Rather than, this isn't working, just put your foot back. And that should take it. Okay. You can do that without the rear sweep and it'll still work. Okay. And all the technique is you're coming in, you're coming in for a rear sweeping throw, and rather than sweeping, just putting your foot up fairly high, and then take it down to where it was before it swept. And it's one of the most idiot-friendly techniques going. Okay? So, I want you to come in, and try to do the hip throw, it's not going to work. You're going to try to do a harigoshi, it's not going to work. You're going to come around and sweep in, try that, that's not going to work, step back. So why should I do all that stuff? Why don't I just go around and squeeze that? Because I want you to go through the sequence. Okay? Because normally what will happen if a hip throw doesn't work, you try to do a sweep. Okay? And a sweep, a sweep may or may not work. Okay? Okay.
I'm not going to be able to see.
Yeah. No, you're not going to sweep me. The center of gravity is too low. Okay? So, you're going to get the resistance. I want you to turn around. You have to hold thing tight. If you're going to do and just to correct something, what some people will do is they'll come in for a throw, and then before they do the other throw, they'll come out. And this is this is okay for practicing position stuff. But if you're trying to throw the person, and you want to come in for a hip throw, and he resists, and you're going to step out again, are you going to do that on the street? No. Okay. You're in, you're committed. What do you do from here? Okay. Okay. What do you do from here? And here, you're in tight, you turn. You sweep. You as you go, step your leg through. And that's a pretty foolproof technique. Okay, so I want you to come up, we try hip throw. If you want, you try harigoshi. Your opponent is going to resist. You try the sotogari. Your opponent may or may not resist, depending upon his or her mood. Okay, and I just want you to do the reaching through and putting that foot down. They can give you some moderate resistance on that, but it should work. Okay? Let's see what happens. Put on some of that short. Okay. Maki komi, there are two entirely different types of maki komi. In Budoshin, we do it one way, which some people call it the more traditional way. Then there's a safer way to do it, which is you're simply coming in here and you're going cross body, and you're going down to keep and holding that way. Okay. So we would call that a cross body drop because they're across the body. It's like a we would like for a cross-body hip throw, where instead of just doing this, we'll come in and actually turn and take over our back. That would be a cross-body hip throw or drop. Okay. For us, Komi, you're coming in, you're pulling this person in, or you're going around his neck. Okay. And the reason this technique is hard for students is because they don't believe they can do it. And they don't believe in the laws of physics. And all of you can do Maki Komi know before I can shift my weight and I do one of two things. I want to come down on my knees, okay. I can come down, just lift my knees up and drop then on the two knees and take him down over this way. Or, if you really want to have fun, you're coming in here, he's not cooperating, so you're simply going to hold on, do a drop throw, and turn.
Oh, he's gonna land right on his face.
What?
He's gonna land right on his face.
No, he won't. He should. If you're turning.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So he still should land on his back. You're going to land on him though. And then give you uki toshi. If you know your uki toshi. The hard part is that you've got to go from this to shift in the weight and still turn your body. So if you want, you can try that. Another option for Maki Pony is you're here. He's not going, okay, you come back. And I'm not doing anything with the arm yet. Okay. So I just want you to try either start the Maki Pony. It doesn't cooperate. You just can drop to one knee or drop to both knees or switch over here. Take him back. Don't let go of this. This is what keeps him off balance. Okay. Then I want to work with extremities for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to put them together. And then you can have some fun. Okay, very good. Let's go. Let me borrow Peter. Okay. All of this came equipped with hands and arms. And these are the easiest things to work with. And most of you have learned, the front hand shake. The Shiokuwaza is the nerve where you press the thumb. And you also know, I'm sure, that there's a nerve at the tip of each fingernail. If you've ever cut your nails too short, you've had that learning experience. And so that's a good way to control the fingers. Okay. We're going to start off, and rather than making it a lapel grab, I try and get new students away from lapel grabs as soon as possible because A, they really get bored if every attack is shown for lapel grab. And because jiu-jitsu people are lazy and we like to integrate what we're doing so that when they're learning a hand throw or a hip throw, they're also learning how to block the hip because you got to block the attack before you can do anything with it. Okay, they're learning multiple skills. So we're gonna take a hand throw here. And I'm gonna cross block in front of it. Okay, and I'm gonna come over and do a hand throw. Okay, and there are a lot of ways to set a hand throw. You can have two thumbs. You can have a thumb in a hand. You can have a forearm. You can have a forehead. If you're agile enough, you can get your knee up here and push down. There are a lot of variations on the theme. If you want to be in the third and fourth knuckle, I'll do it. Okay, we're going to have you come here. He is going to resist. Okay, okay. Now, he wants to go backwards. If he wants to go backwards, all I want, rather, this is not in, you want it kneeing is work too. But see, when you knee a person, you can still pull his hand away. And you don't want to use his hand. Because then he gets to attack you again. And then you have to do something else. So you're going to be here, and he's going to pull this back. All I want you to do is step forward, push the back of the hand. Keep hold. If you get an extremity and you feel you have a good hold or good control of that extremity, you keep holding. Okay. And again, I'm helping the attacker. If he wants to come in and he wants to resist again, or he wants to try and hit me again with that, if he wants to hit, okay, now what I've done, is I've gone into a Maki Pony or a Taitoshi, but if you watch my hand, he extended it out. As he extended it out, I turned it. Okay? And he's tapping already. Okay. Okay. Now, if you're going to do anything, just a word of caution. If you're going to if you get this arm turned, and you decide to come in for winding throw or Taitoshi, please slack off on the arm. Because if you do the technique correctly, your body, your hip or ribs are going to make contact with his elbow, and and there's a very good chance of dislocating it. That's what the technique is supposed to do, okay? But we don't want that to happen in the dojo, okay? So again, if you come in, if he pulls it back, I want you to just go with it. Push down. If he tries to push it out, I want you to turn it around. Now you don't even have to do tight throw. If he wants to extend it out, fine, you can still do a hand throw. It's going to be a sloppy hand throw. Because his hand's going to be out. But if you control that wrist and turn it, he's still going to go. Because you're controlling his shoulder. Okay? So we're going to have you go through those three for a hand throw, and then we're going to work out from the hand throw. We're going to do a wrist lock, side wrist lock throw. We're going to go into a shoulder lock, variance on the shoulder lock into an arm bar, and then hopefully at 10:15 or 10:20, we're going to start putting this together with traditional judo throws and see what we come up with. Okay, and at that point, you're really going to have to be careful with your kuke. We went in, he pushed out, okay, and rather than going to the inside as I did, okay, what Paul did was he went to the outside. When you move to the outside, you turn with the other way. And once you're this way, you can either go down with it as you turn, or you can swing it back around again for a hand throw. Or you can, once, like I said, if you have that hand, keep hold of it. You'll eventually run into something. Okay? Pick it up. One of the things I don't want you to ignore, okay, is that you're setting up a technique and you get resistance. There is nothing wrong. I'm just working the technique. There's nothing wrong with some loose traction, or something that's going to mess with him a little bit to take his mind off what you want to do. Okay, if it's a hop to the nose or a backhand, or a shark bite. I don't care what it is. Okay, and those things at times need to come. If you sense you're getting resistance, you need something to take his mind off of what you want to do. Okay. We're going to take your hand throw. He's not going to pull it back, but he's going to resist. Okay. Now, from here, there are 2 or 3 ways we can go. We can simply come around, hook in, and we can take him out to the side. Okay. I ask you not to complete this technique because if it's done fast, it will break the wrist. Okay.
Or you take out the shoulder.
Take out the shoulder. Now, I want this as straight as possible. If you bring it back to here, and the elbow, stand up straight. Just turn around so it's like, even with his elbow. And his elbow then is inside of your arm, you now have a shoulder lock. Okay. So all it takes, we're going to start with this, we're going to go to this, and he's going to pull it back, and I'm just going to slip under. And now you have a shoulder lock. You can stick your finger in his ear, or whatever you want to annoy him. Okay? So, we're going to put a couple more things into the sequence. I wish Regina was back. Walker. I think she went to the facility. So you're going to be here, the person's going to resist, you're going to try side wrist lock, the person's going to pull it back, you're going to let them pull, slide your elbow, slide this elbow inside, you're going to go here. From here, okay, I want you, what do you want to do next? We're going to, yes, you can take him down. Yes, you can come around and do a hip throw, which takes all the pressure off the shoulders and the wrists, surprising, until they're down. Okay. It looks horrible to people that are watching, but it's a totally safe technique. I want you, you've got this here, I want you to slip this under your armpit. I want you to come on around the face. Okay. And at this point, I don't think you're going to encounter any more resistance. Because number one, you've got a proper hold. Okay. Number two, you've got a completely off balance. You don't go any place you want to. Okay. You can do other things to him too. Okay. Be careful, this is hard on people's lower back muscles. Be aware, don't keep them in that position too long. I've known students who had back muscles cramp from that. So just don't leave them there for 5 or 10 minutes, because it will become very painful for them. So come in with a hand throw, knock it across, come in with a hand throw. He's going to resist for a side wrist lock, which is would normally go down this way, which will break the wrist. But you didn't get to do that, and okay, you're here with the right hand, and he pulls. And you're going to go in so that his elbow is now on the inside. And now you have a wrist lock and a shoulder lock. Okay, because he helped you. Okay, I want you to take his elbow, stick it into the side of your body. Take your left hand, come around, and grab the nose. Okay. And now you can walk him anywhere you want. You can take him down with this, or if you want to walk him someplace, you know, we need to find a wall for you, sir. You find a wall for him. Okay. Very good. Any questions on this? Okay, let's see what happens. Grab ears. There is a tendency for a lot of people, you know, it's kind of like the ear is a dirty thing, and the person's hair or their nose is a dirty thing. Okay. When I want you to grab ear, you want to grab, whether it be this ear or coming across this ear, you want to use all your fingers against it. You want to grab that whole ear. It's hard to pull an ear off. Okay. There's nothing wrong with also sticking your finger in the ear. Okay. It's not going to get stuck. But again, and it's not going to hurt them that much. It's incredibly annoying.
I get wax in the ear.
Well, wax on, wax off. Anyway, that's really a small part of it. At least you have DNA. But you know, if you come around trying to get the nose and your finger slips and you end up in a nostril, leave it there. Okay? Yeah, it's kind of gross, and yes, it's very annoying, but this person is going to cooperate with you because they don't like that annoyance. Okay, but if they fight you, they realize it is going to hurt. Okay, like I said the other day, if you're dealing with self-defense, you have to throw the rules out. There are no rules except who is going to walk away. Okay, grabbing hair. Okay, people today wear their hair shorter than they did 15, 20 years ago. Okay? And back in the 50s, people wore their hair short, mainly men. You know, it's kind of like you have different styles, and every 20, 30 years, someone turns in the screw in the belly button. There used to be a Barbie doll that had a ponytail, and you control the length of the ponytail by turning this poor Barbie's belly button, which confused a lot of girls. But anyway, they look at their there's no screw there. Anyway, if you want to grab hair, let's have you turn backwards this way. What you need to do, first thing to do is to grab hair on top. Okay. First of all, because it's not a good place to grab hair. It doesn't hurt that much. If a guy is wearing a rug, for lack of a better term, you're going to end up with his rug in your hand, and you know, what do you do with that? And I've been in that situation once, breaking up a girl's fight. Apparently one of the girls was undergoing chemotherapy, and nobody knew about it until she got in a fight, but she started the fight. Anyway, what you want to do is grab hair properly. You come up, ideally, from the back, grab as much as you can on the side, ideally this front area here, because that's where the scalp is most sensitive. As much as you can. The more hair you grab, the more it's going to hurt, the less you're going to pull out. Okay. Now Leo, of course, you can't grab hair. His hair is too short. Okay. So you have to grab ear. Okay. And again, grab the whole here. Okay, since Leo is up here, we had hand throw, okay, and we're all working the inside. Okay, I'm saying this here, this is from the inside, this is from the inside, okay, even this is from the inside. I'm on the inside of his arm. Okay. You can go in another direction. Okay. If you're out, you start out with your hand throw, and he decides he wants to pull it away or just wants to pull it out. Okay. What you can do is go with him and rotate it. Okay. Now this is going to take some risk on your part. You got to switch hands once, twice. You go into a wrist lock takedown. Okay. If he's in a hand throw, so I want you to start out this way, and he wants to turn, you want to go this way, and he wants to go the other way. Go the other, turn your hand the other way. You're fine. That's fine. You let him do it. You let him go with one hand, or you can, it's simply, if you want to do it just one step, let go, grab with the other hand. You know, wrist lock takedown. Okay, so I want you to go through the secret. You're here, he wants to go the other way, you let him turn his hand, you reach, this is the weak point here, and if he simply were to pull his hand one way, pull his hand or push his hand down, I would lose it. Okay, so you don't want to hold this in a death grip. If I hold it in a death grip, pull your hand out or push it down, he's going to get, if on the other hand, I'm just holding it, pull, push. If you don't hold tight, you can keep hold of this sucker. Okay, so if you're going to bring it down, this hand's going to reach across, thumb, and simply bring him up into a wrist lock takedown. Okay, so I want you to do that. If you're going there, he's now going to pull back. Ah, I see, elbow. And take the elbow and roll it. Okay, turn the elbow around. From the roll, you can take him down this way, or we can do this and bring his arm in. Now you have an arm lock. Okay, you can take him down or you can keep him standing. Okay. Or you're here and you drop this here, you can shift up not the shoulder. This is hard work to do on people. People to roll that shoulder. But if you get into the armpit, a little behind it, and roll it, step up and go down. Okay. Pushing your hand on the back of their shoulder and pushing down is hard work. Yeah, if you're stronger and can press this enough, you can get them down. But it's a lot easier to take it almost like a knife edge and roll from the armpit up. Okay, and bring them down. Okay, so your sequence is he's here, he's going to resist. Turn the other way, he's going to reach around and grab the center wrist lock. He's going to bring his arm in, the elbow up, bring him down. We're going to bring him around so we can't throw you smile at the camera, smile at the camera, Leo. Okay. 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 Then you can either roll and take him down, or you can bend this and get his arm. Okay. I prefer the edge. Some people like to do it this way. For me, this is a lot more comfortable, and I feel I have more control. So it's whichever you like. Okay. Then we can come across, if you really want to make this, give this guy some grief. Okay. Now, you're going to reach across, grab his left shoulder and pull that back. Okay. Where is it uncomfortable, Leo?
On my shoulder on this side.
On the side, okay.
On the right side.
Yeah, sometimes it'll actually cramp the left side of the neck, surprisingly, or the right side of the neck. So be careful, pull it up carefully. It's basically pulling the bow. Okay, very good. Thank you, Leo. Okay, let's see what you can do with this. So we got to put things together. I've got power ironing. One of the things that this awareness of where the body parts are is extremely responsible, extremely important. One of the things when we worked with the other community bodies reports after the Rodney King incident was one of the things their standard procedure was one person walks in. And we all know what you do for this little puppy. Okay, this is really one of the stupidest holes going. Okay, or they grab the person to try and, you know, and what they did research, and about 85% of the situations with perps or what have you, or even a person, is really just passive resistance. And the situations that arose out of it, they found that if they did this, and the person, where they grabbed here for the person, and they held tight, and the person wanted to get away, he would pull, and the officer would go with him, because the officer's holding on for dear life, okay? And they found that they simply changed the position of the grab from one under here and one hand here, okay? But this solved a lot of problems, because now if he pulls away, and the officer goes with it, see, the officer now had here, oh, elbow, okay, now you're going down, sir, because you didn't cooperate with me. Okay. Okay, we're going to take, now, there are some other things you can do for hand, or if he doesn't want to go down, or if he wants to go the way, other way, we don't have time for him. But if he starts to pull back from this, we all know this nerve here, you know, that nerve will work, or rule was yesterday, holding a hand against you and simply going, keeping the wrist perpendicular, going straight down, will snap the wrist. Okay. You can go from, you can again roll here. And now we're going to take this, and this person, you've got him like this, and he decides he wants to give you some more grief. We're going to have to do one of two things. One technique I just saw from Peter that I haven't seen for about 10 or 15 years, and this, okay, which is a really technique, and it helps if you have longer legs. So this may cause you some grief, and it was always a hard technique for me too. If you get this down and cross your right leg in front of his right leg, okay, and then lean back. Why is he going down? Stay up. You can do a standing submission this way. It's a wrist press. Okay. Or you can, if you want to be less nice, from wrist lock takedown, he doesn't want to cooperate. You can come in, and we're going to have you simply take this leg up, and you're going to drop down slowly. Sort of like on the outside winding takedown. Okay. If you have the wrist lock takedown and he pulls back, again, you can shift hands again like we did before and take him in your hands. You can come around, do a tight touch. Okay. Okay. You can wrist lock takedown. If he wants to bend his elbow, you can bring this arm through, set this up, you've got the shoulder lock takedown again. Okay. And what I want you to do in the next 5 or 6 minutes, I want you to do some experimenting. Okay. I don't care what hold you start out with, because it really doesn't matter. Okay. Almost all of your black belts. I want you to, okay, you get resistance. What can I do next? Okay. Do I change the direction, go 180 degrees? Do I go to another joint? What have you? What throw can I put with it? And set it up for the throw. Okay. But don't let go of the extremity. Okay. And give, one person about 2 or 3 minutes, and the next person, don't switch back and forth. Okay, and that's one other thing about training is, particularly for, now you guys can switch back and forth, but I don't want you to do that. Particularly with newer students, they tend to switch back and forth with one person that wants to make it bigger. And if you go in that type of learning sequence, the student really doesn't learn much because there are all these interruptions. It's like the kid is learning to walk. You don't let them take one step and say, okay, that's good for today, we'll come back to it next week. Okay, you let them walk until they go splat. And then they get up, and kids will try it again. I mean, if you don't mother the poor kid to death, oh, poor baby fell down, her tummy and face, okay, oh, pull this, and you don't go through this routine, you get them up and say, okay, let's try it again, you did really well. They'll keep going. And they'll get better. And that's why you want this repetition. The repetition is more important than switching back and forth, and they'll learn faster. So I want you to give each other a couple, 3 minutes, and then switch. Okay. So you're going to be, one of you is going to be a dummy for 2 or 3 minutes, and the other one will be a dummy for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay? Very good. Let's see what happens. Okay. One of the things you can do when you get back to your own dojo or wherever, you start in doing sequences of techniques. You simply start out with one technique, and you want to get some resistance from the person, and then you have to think, basically, what's available? Okay, that's your first one. Because you cannot address the question of what do I do next until you know what's available. Okay? If you don't know what resources are there, it doesn't matter what you plan. Okay? And then once you decide what's available, then you have to decide what you're going to do with what's available. Okay? And it's just a matter of practicing whatever sequence you come up with, because Byron gave Regina some really nice challenges, and she was successful on some and not successful on others. And that's okay. You don't have to be successful at everything. My recommendation is keep it as simple as possible. Because on the street, simple is going to work. Okay? Don't get into complicated techniques. Try to keep hold of the extremity that you started with. Okay? If you have to go into, if you want to go into throws, set a hold and try the throw. Then you set up the throw. One of the things you have to be aware of in having a hold set when you do a throw is that you cannot have 2 pivot points in anything you're doing. Okay. If I try and do the hand throw and I come in for a Tai Trosh, I have 2 pivot points. I've got this, I've got this. Something has to give on the uke. Okay, something will give. If I set a shoulder lock and go into a hip throw, I only have 1 pivot point, which will be the hip throw, because nothing is happening with the shoulder lock. Okay, if you do this slowly the first time, you're going to feel once the shoulder lock's done to you, you're going to feel there's nothing happening with the shoulder lock while I'm being thrown. There's no pressure on it, unless I try to get out. But that's one of the rules for combining techniques is you cannot have, if you cannot generally have 2 pivot points. If you have 2 pivot points, something is going to fracture. If the person doing the technique ends up with 2 different pivot points, it'll fracture whatever you're holding on to. Okay, so just be aware of that. And that's why you practice this sequencing and combining techniques very slowly, because you're going to find, gee, if I put A and C together, this person's really going to get hurt. And then you can practice the kata of that, but you can't really do it for real, because we don't live in ancient Japan, and none of us are samurai with a bunch of disposable swords. Okay, going to give you a break for about 7 minutes. Regina did ask last night for 3 different knife attacks to back, low, medium, and high. So I'll do that during the break time if you want to do that. If someone wants to be uke, you can practice on them. And I need to know what you mean by 3 knife attacks, different knife attacks. You know, if it's straight in, it's relative to something coming from behind or on the neck. So that gets a little more challenging. Okay, so everybody up, let's bow off. Okay, Sachiwaza, Yosuke, great. And a nice break.
My name is Michael Langewisch, and I'm just going to talk about the Whirlpool throw. It's just to define what it is and use it in several different ways. It's not just one particular throw, it's more of a function of several throws and what you're doing and how you can use it to improve your techniques. Just to define what the Whirlpool throw is, let me borrow Leo for this one. Whirlpool is any type of throw where the person is leaning forward a little bit, so like that, and you start to turn them. Okay? This can be a forward turn and lean. So you can have this for, let's say, a hip throw. You can have it for a tai tosh. Okay? Harai goshi, any kind of throw like that. It can also be a reverse technique. So I'm leaning him this way and turning him. Okay? So it'll be okay. So that same look to that throw is I'm always pulling him out and down and out and down, out and down. So I make that whirlpool look. So it's not this. It's more like this. It's hard to do. I don't have a whirlpool.
Like a tornado.
Yeah, it's a tornado. Okay, except it's going down. That's why I call it the whirlpool, because it's going down,
Right.
not up. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to talk a little bit differently. I've presented this before, but I want to talk about the whirlpool and sell it to you. Let's talk about why I think it's a better technique than some others. Okay. One of the things that we talk about when you're doing this one, it's a good beginner's technique because your partner's feet don't have to leave the ground when you're doing this technique. If you start out like this and you do Ippon Sayanagi and you're teaching this to a very beginner, they need to know how to do that fall that you're bringing them over, or else you're asking for trouble, right? Okay? If you do Tomonagi, you're asking for trouble doing it against a beginner when you go backwards and they don't know how to do a full flip throw, a full flip fall. On this one, you can do it where it's an easy technique and you just guide them down gently. They don't have to come off their feet, they just kind of lay down. You can do it to where you protect their head and turn backwards and just guide them down. Okay? It's an easy technique, and because there's so many of them, you have a lot of choices to play with. There's fewer moving parts in this one. At its heart, let me borrow you just a second. All you do is control this part of the body, so let's just have this, and turn. No matter if you're doing it with a hand throw, you're really trying to control this part of the body, not the hand, and turn. If you're doing this, grab, turn. Very simple throw. You don't have to be very involved. It's not as if you're doing, what's that, a double toe grab? None of this stuff. There's a lot of moving parts that you have to screw around with. Okay? At the bare minimum is you are a bear and you are hugging cub and you are taking cub down. That's all it is, really. Okay? It's easy to isolate during the demonstration. Some techniques when you're teaching them, gateway technique to many different throws. Okay, firing temporary for just a second. Not going to throw, but again, same thing I was talking about earlier. You can start with this as he punches, more of an osotogari type of throw. You can bring it into more of a hip throw, maybe an outside throw. You can make it more of a tai tosh. Okay, so any point along this spectrum, anywhere along there, any of those throws that you're talking about, it can be changed into. So it feeds into all of those throws. So you learn the technique for this. You've already got the technique for that. And essentially the same throw, just a little bit farther out. Maybe your reaction time's better. Maybe I see it coming, so I've got a Sotogari. Maybe I don't see it coming, so now it's Tai tosh. It's generally available to you earlier for self-defense purposes. Okay, so Peter, can I borrow you for a second? Okay, so Peter throws a punch. I do this. I'm inside of his punch, okay? However I get here, or I just stand here like an idiot and bring it in my hands more time. Okay. Now, I've got this throw to begin with. Okay? I almost always have this throw right off the bat. I can do something else. Okay. I can do any type of throw I want, but right away, as he punches, I've got this, it's always here, it's right here. Anytime I vary from that, I'm taking more time and giving him more time to recover, okay, which is probably not a good thing. This one's a little odd to think about, but I want you to think about it. It's not load bearing. You're not picking the person up, putting them on your hip, and throwing them. And you're always putting them around you. So in the long run, over the course of your martial arts career, that's 80 years or whatever it may be, you're not wearing your knees down 10,000 times to do this. Anytime you pick someone up, there's the opportunity for injury. Okay? Anytime you step out, it's a little bit easier not to be injured than it is when you've got a weight load on you. Okay? So it's a good idea not to weight load as your form of practice all the time. You're probably better off not weight loading. Again, let me put that at the long part of your martial arts career. On your very last day, whenever that day may be, and you're 95 years old, what's the last throw you probably think you're going to throw? Do you think that's going to be Tomonagi? Okay. Do you think it's going to be Ukiyotoshi? God help you, the bane of every elderly person's existence is a fall. They break their hips. I'm sure everybody's got relatives or knows someone who has fallen and broken a hip. Okay? So I'm going to tell you that I think, if anything, this is the last throw you're going to do is one of these type of throws. Okay? If you watch some old-time flicks of some older martial artists, especially when they're doing multiple attackers, wham, wham, all that time. They're not doing. Think about that when you do it. I want to talk about using less energy when you're doing throws. How much energy does it take to do a Tomonagi? You got to go down, you got to come back up. Okay. Let me show you real quick. Where are you? This is just for demonstrations. We're not going to do a fall. If we started doing jumping jacks together, okay, and we're doing it at the same time, just for a second. No, yeah. You go first. Okay. And who's going to keep it up longer? Him, of course, right? Okay. So he's got a bigger tank of gas than I do. And what's worse is I'm burning it at a faster rate than he is. Okay? So I could be heavier. I could be older. There could be 3 or 4 of him. And he just has to do a jumping jack every once in a while because I've got to deal with him, and I'm burning energy and getting hyper. And he's just, oh yeah, and let me just circle around behind you. So he's not burning energy at near the same rate I am. Okay? To fight that problem, to where you're starting to tank out, and when you get tired, you just, and it's whatever he wants to do to you. You need to conserve energy the entire time you're using any kind of technique. Okay? So that means if this technique takes, I don't know, 50 units of energy, and this technique takes 60 units of energy, use the 50 when you have it rather than the 60. You always want to be conserving energy. Okay? It's a problem you're fighting the clock, you're fighting your energy loss. Okay? I want to talk about versatility of where you have choices to put the attacker down. Okay. This is the attacker's landing zone on the right and left-hand side. I've just kind of drawn a circle to where you are in the middle of the circle. This is where you put the attacker down. Let me hit to, what throw is this? Any throw that fits this category. So I'm putting the attacker down here. A Sotogari. Typically your hip throws, Tomonagi. Okay. There's only one place you're putting that person in. This one, because I've got this choice of stepping around, I can drop the attacker here, 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 here. Do it on the left-hand side, here, 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 here. I've got a huge swath that I can put that person down in. It's my choice if I want to put him into the cactus plant, in the fire hydrant, under a nice soft patch of dirt, my choice. If I do Tomonagi, there ain't no choice, it's going that way. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, it's Tomonagi, you know. Really, choice isn't there, the stomach through.
Is that where you put your feet on their hips and roll them over?
Okay? So you've got a lot of choices of landing zone. You're more in control of what you've got. Okay? Let me do it this way, and I'll use Byron for this one. He gets the good part of this one. Okay? So let me have you on this side. Okay. Let me have you on this side. Okay, starting from a standing position, that's what I want to talk about real quick. And I'll have you do this. You'll put a check mark if it's possible and an X if it's not possible. Okay? From a standing position, we'll have Byron do an Ippon Sainage. I don't want you to throw him, but just set for it. But I just want to see if it's possible from a standing position. Okay? Everybody agree it's possible to throw from a standing position for Ippon Sainage? I hope so, because we're not going to get anything if we don't. All right? So let's put a check mark next to that. Okay. For Tomonagi from a standing position, let's just set for it. Okay. Again, I think that we all agree that it's possible from a standing position, right? Okay. Now the whirlpool throw, so a hand throw from a standing position. Okay, again, I think we're all agreed, standing position, it's still pretty good. Okay. Let me borrow one of the chairs real quick. Byron gets to sit down for a moment. Sweet. Okay. Now let's go on Ippon Sainage. Is it possible for Byron to throw an Ippon Sainage from a sitting position? Who votes yes? Who votes no? Okay. It's probably unlikely. I mean, he may have some magic throw that I've never seen before, but it's very difficult. Okay. Tomonagi from a sitting position. What do you think? Possible? Let's give it a maybe, okay? Because this chair is functionally set up not to fall backwards. But let's put that down as a maybe. Okay? A hand throw from a sitting position. Okay? Still good, right? All right, enough of the chair. Let's have Byron lay down on his back. Ippon Sainage. Yeah. Unlikely, to say the least, right? Okay. Okay, Tomonagi. You don't have what you need to get the drop, so you're really going to have to fight that one to get that knee underneath him, and then to get it over, it's tough too. I'm going to put that as very unlikely. It's marginally possible. Okay? Again, cross over on top of him like you're going to punch him. The whirlpool throw, a hand throw. Okay? You've still got that hand throw ability to off to the side. Okay? All right, one more time. Multiple attacker situation, or you're in a confined space. So you're in line at the checkout counter at a grocery store. You know you've only got this much space. You got your cart, you got your conveyor belt. Okay? So let's just say that Byron is the conveyor belt right here. These are the constraining walls that stop him from doing anything such as this. Okay. Ippon Sainage is he's standing up in a confined space or multiple attacker situation. I want it, when I say confined, I mean confined. So if he's here, he does Ippon Sainage, Ippon Sainage. He's vulnerable, 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 vulnerable as he's done his throw. Okay. He does Tomonagi. Okay. Vulnerable, vulnerable, vulnerable. Now we just start pounding on him as he's on the ground. Whirlpool throw. Hand throw, whatever you want to do. Still vulnerable, but at least he's in an upright position when he ends. Did I have another one on there? I can't
We had
remember.
Seiza and Kirby.
Oh, yeah, Seiza, I'm sorry, I forgot Seiza. So, kneeling position? Okay. Ippon Sainagi. Yes, no?
Maybe.
Yeah, possible. I'll give that a maybe, okay? Not the easiest one, but it's there. Okay? Tomonage from a kneeling position. Difficult. Remotely possible, but difficult. Okay? Kneeling position, hamper. That's a yes. I'm going to give that a yes. Is there one mother? I'm not sure.
You said carrying?
Oh, when you're carrying something. So, Byron's bag. Okay. If he's carrying something, Tomonage. What's the problem with Tomonage when you're carrying something? You have to have both hands to do Tomonage. It's just not going to be as successful. You can do it one-handed, I suppose, if you're good enough, but it's just not going to happen. Ippon Sainagi, when you're carrying something, I believe we can all pretty much say that this is probably true, that you can throw off an Ippon Sainagi. And again, you can do Tai-Tosh or whatever when you're doing carrying something with your hands. Okay, so that's a yes on that one as well. So if you fill in that chart that we're talking about with these, and you start to look at this, you start to see that the check marks involved on that. Let me borrow that.
Yeah, the Whirlpool.
The Whirlpool is more versatile than just about any other type of those techniques. And I chose Ippon and Tomonage on purpose for that reason, because most of the others fit in those techniques. But you can see that the Whirlpool is going to fit you in a lot better and serve you more in a self-defense situation than Tomonage. I hope that's not a surprise. Easy enough to demonstrate. All right, let's start doing them just to start to see what we're talking about here. Let's start off with an easy one, and I'm going to make them a little impractical first just to teach the idea of the Whirlpool and how to use it, and then we'll make it more practical as we go along. Okay? So let's start up with this. Can I borrow you? We're going to start with the lapel grab just because it's easy to teach. I'm just going to simple it like this. Okay? What I'll have you do is grab under his elbow, pull it. I don't want you to pull it forward, okay? Because I've got a problem there with that other hand. If I pull it forward, guess where that's going to, all I've done is help him, okay? So when you pull to this side, now he's got a problem punching me remotely that I'm not going to give him a chance with. So from here, pull it across, reach, maybe let's say the back of the knee, shoulder, neck. We'll use the neck for this one. Hug it tight, step back, and gently put it there. Okay? So we'll start with that one. Easy enough? One more time. He grabs. The dreaded lapel grab. And he's not even going to punch me. That's how good he is. Okay? Don't care about the finishing technique right now. I really don't care about them for this purpose that we're talking about. So let's try that out a few times each. Okay? Thank you. But it's an easy one to teach the beginning thought of get them leaning forward and turning. I'm doing a young Frankenstein impression. I'm entertaining myself. Okay. So let's do Byron this time. Okay. One of the problems with that is when he does the lapel grab, and let's say he's not wearing a judo gi, we're at the beach, or he's wearing a cowboy chap outfit. Okay, whatever he likes to wear on the weekends. Because it's the elbow, there's the possibility that you can't get this and it slips off. Okay. This part, once you get to this, it's hard to say it won't slip off, but this part's a problem. So let's do a friction pull. What that is here, and that really makes that elbow go to where Byron just can't punch me anymore. It's very difficult for him to do. So reach in pretty far, pull up and back. So friction pull. Okay? So you get this in. Same difference on the throw that we're going to do. So just gently bring it down. One more time. Okay, gentle. You didn't have to slap the mat. No, okay? I think Sir Mix-a-Lot said it best. I'm down to get the friction off. Baby got back. Okay. Let's try that a couple times. Okay? I'm glad you were having trouble with the grab. Because now, for Byron, I get to pull out the Wilson or a +3 dexterity. Okay? It's only bar Byron. To show you that it is not a grip that makes this work, I am going to hold these magic balls in my hand while I do that technique. Byron does the lapel grip. At no time did the balls leave my hand. Okay, so let's try that. I've got enough for everybody to have a partner. Let's try them with the balls in your hand, and you'll feel that it ain't the hands that are doing it, it's your body moving it. I might get inspired to do something else. All right, let's take it off the lapel grab now, just to make it a little more fun. So let me borrow you. Well, put the balls down. You won't be able to grab me with them. It gets even better. Let's have a double grab to my wrist. So this is one of those ones where he's decided that he wants to pull me, or if he's trying to pull me and I'm a little heavy for him, he's not going anywhere. Okay? He's trying to drag me off for God knows what reason. Okay? As I do this one, I'm going to step in and use the body movement assist for this throw. Okay, so it's the same throw we've done before. He pulls, I step in close, I pull back. Okay, easy enough. One more time. Again, I'm being real gentle with the throw. I don't have to be, but this is what it is. Okay. That time I assisted with my other hand up behind his arm. So here, just gently, okay, he pulls. I want to try and get his body turned a little bit. I want to grab something. In this case, it's just easier for me. This is a little bit of a reach. I can still do it from here. And now once I've got this, and he can't stand up, take it down. Okay? So again, one more time, and then you guys can try it. Double wrist grab. He pulls. I grab. I step back. Stand. Okay? Let's try that. Okay. Let's try it for a handshake, Byron.
Handshake.
The dreaded handshake. Okay? Again, I want to do that same technique where somehow I need him leaning forward and then turn somehow. Leaning forward and turn somehow. Okay? This is going to be real tough. I've already showed you it. Leaning forward and turning. So, one more time. Leaning forward and turning. I can do it with something in my hand. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Everybody got that? One more time, I think, maybe. Okay. Let's try that out.
I see.
All right, everybody got it? All right, let's make it a little more fun for the attacker. We're going to take the phasers off stun here for a moment. Okay. Let's do it with the backwards motion instead of the front motion. We've been doing a lot of this type of thing. Now I'm going to drop him back that way. Okay? So, he punches. Okay? I'm going to step into this, and you create a fence. If you're good enough, you've got enough reaction time, you bring up your hands. I'm just going to let him punch into me. Okay, so he punches me. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Back up just a little bit. Ready? Go. Sorry.
So instead of going side, you came forward.
I can go here, I can make this work anyway. But just for that one, it felt right to put him right, sorry. It felt right for a second there to put him down right there, okay? So again, he punches. Going back, one more time. And I can push him straight there.
Did you hook his Achilles there? Or
I
did you hook
accidentally
your
stepped
foot?
on his foot. But the idea is I can, any path, point along that path is my choice. Okay, so, one more time. If you want to do it like this, where you just, I like to pretend this because I don't like to think that I've got the reaction time to step in and be here. Okay? On a real altercation, he's not gonna, I don't know what's coming. He can throw in a kick and I go, oh, and in the last second, my hands are up here. So he punches, you come in, sorry, you come in, put one hand on his shoulder, one hand here, grab, torque. Now watch what I'm doing with this hand, because this is the important hand here. Not back, but I'm going to drive and down. So I'm going to go like this, not this. You've seen this happen. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. But you're going to drive and down. If you drive out, you start to see this motion where he spins away from the person and they separate. Okay? So you really want to drive him down. Again, it's out and down the whirlpool effect. So one more time. Okay. A little bit harder on him. Not very hard, but just not as easy as it was before. Okay? Let's try that one. Okay. I bring out my tactical cell phone.
Ooh.
Just a wood block or the shape of a cell phone. You can turn into your real self too after the class, I'm afraid. So again, back on the area. Because we've got that option of not using the hands, okay, I can make this real painful for Byron real quick with my cell phone in hand. And most people walk around with their cell phones on. You've seen it. Look around outside the park. Just look how many people are out there with this thing in their hand now. Okay? You may not have a pen in your hand, but most people have this in. So let's make it a little painful for Byron here.
Yeah.
So Byron punches, okay, slowly. I can stop that punch with this thing, okay? Get a good grip on one end and just stick it out there and let it hit. He ain't gonna punch it just a second time, okay? But let's just do it as an outside block where I kind of get inside and here, okay? I can do it with my short stick. Okay. Right, do a little for the cell phone. And end it however you like. Again, because I've got that option of just having one hand and the real hand on this throw. For this particular throw is this upper hand. Once I've got this, it can be anything. Down like that. Okay? It can be. Okay? Don't have to be nice. I'm being nice. But there's no way that if I did this to Byron, wham, and then did this throw after that, yeah, he's going down. He's going down that way. The throw becomes this real easy. Okay? So what I like you to do is just here, pick up the phone. Oh, jeez, please. Put it up in here, start to feel anything. But when you're doing this, just put it here. I don't care about it. You know that this hurts, okay? And then just turn his head and push it. Okay? Let's try that. Leo, for new party. Again, let's do this for an overhead club. However you like. For me, I don't want to get too involved in the shoulder lock. I want to make it fast and short and sweet. Okay? So I don't recommend that when you do an X block, when you see this in an overhead club, that you do this and then pop it here and then do that. I've already got something, again, for self-defense. I'm already in position for what I want. So let's go back to this. I just throw a block here. I make it the X block by bringing my hand up here. Again, in the immortal words of Sir Mix-a-Lot. Okay? You're doing that same friction draw. And because you're going down instead of straight across, it's a little easier to get the idea of what happens. Here, boom. Okay? Either you bring it up at the same time as you block, or you reach, pull. Now he's got that same look to him that I want. And okay, one more time. The hard part of this is getting up repeatedly. Okay. Okay, easy enough. Let's try that. Grab it. There's only barbers the other.
Oh, okay. How's my team?
It'll be a punchy go. So what I'm going to have her do is just a punch and move back to it. So she's just coming in with a straight punch. All I'm going to do is really ignore her punch a little bit. Okay? All I'm doing is just getting it so it's not hitting me in the face. This is just as good as this.
Right.
You know, this is a little better. Okay? I'm not burning energy by trying to get her pushed out. But I want to push her out a little bit because of the technique that I'm about to do. So let me switch. She punches, I guide it off to the side. Okay, maybe I do this. I'm just going to reach up, grab lapel. Okay, put my hand across her chin. And again, this one, and this one, I am going to finish with a submission. Pulling up and pushing down. One more time. Okay, and one last time, just to get it from this side. Okay, let's try that. That hurts. So again, I'm going to draw him in. Very subtly, not like that. Okay, now, stop this. I don't even have to step forward, so. And that is a smaller application of what it's, I can do this one for you if you want to feel what it feels like. So, here.
Okay, so it is.
It's turning to the side and down. That's one more time for the outside. I draw Peter in. That same motion. Not doing it like that, but if we're here, that's all I want to do is get him to throw that punch. I don't want him to kick, I want him to throw the punch. Easy, easy. Byron's a little drunk. He's a guy. He's kind of going, hey, baby, I like you. Okay, so we're going to fake this one. This is a good technique for women because it's an excellent, excellent response on a woman's choice against men. I've been in full attacker padding, and I've fallen for this. I mean, I'm dressed up to take a hit. And I'm still going, man, she's going to want to me. Okay, there's something about it that just works. So Byron's coming on.
You just spy tight, honey.
You're what I've always wanted.
Oh, really?
One more time.
Hey there, how's stuff?
Oh, I know how you are.
Really?
I can't see what you're doing with this hand.
Same thing I'm doing before.
Okay.
Okay. I'm doing this with the I'm doing this with the hand. And to assist that, I'm going here. So all he's doing is boom. So one more time, and let's do the play acting, because that's the best part.
Hey there, honey there.
Okay? Not a lot of strength using that. Let's do that when, in fact, a couple times empty-handed. and then a couple times with this. So again,
Sunshine.
I've got all the time in the world to place what I want to place. Out of both. All right, let's try it. All right, let's do another one. Again, let's talk about, where are you? We're ignoring the fact that he's choking me for just a second. Because I've got a few moments while he's choking me. He's doing a front choke. Okay. By the way, I'm doing a near dark impersonation for those of you who is strong. Okay, so here, he's not doing anything else with this. He's thinking about choking me out for some reason. He don't like me one bit, blah, 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 blah. Same technique I've got before. If I have to, drop my body weight into it, and we're just going to use the magic touch. One finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, doesn't really matter. Okay? So he's choking. That's it. One more time. It's the longest, sorry, Mr. It doesn't matter if you do that again. But the longest reach I've got, I could do it here. But this one gives me the furthest possible fulcrum lever situation that I've got here. Okay, on the upward side. I've got downward type 2. But here, so he's choking me away. So one more time, he does the choke. And submit as needed. Let's try it.
Elastic.
A lot of people, until they get very good with throws, and you'd be surprised. If they start to do a Pt2 to me or a hip throw, they don't take my balance until very late in the technique. Okay. You need to take it right away. If you don't, this is what this is good for. Let me talk about this. Okay, so I punch. Byron decides to do a, let's do a Pt2 or a hip, let's do a hip throw for this one, because most people know how to do a hip throw. If it's a Ibansai Nagi or Nagoshi, you know, if it's under the arm or around the back, it doesn't really matter. But for some reason, he doesn't take my balance. He's not good enough to do it. Maybe he's late reaction time, whatever it is.
Let me just step to you with a.
Just give me a, I don't care. I'm good
Don't
to
take
do
your
it anyway.
balance or okay.
Okay, somewhere in this throw, and before I get to this portion, okay, before that happens, one more time. Okay, one more time. So all I'm doing is I'm doing that same whirlpool motion that we've been talking about. And applying it backwards. Easy, easy. He doesn't take my balance. He still doesn't have my balance. Still doesn't have my balance. I just sink. If it's that far bad, he's not going to get me anyway. But again, I can do this without my hand. Don't recommend it. Let's try that a couple times. Just a weak entry on a throw, step around and pull. Somehow, some way, I don't recommend this against a knife, but you've gotten into a hand throw position. Let's say he puts his hand on the grip and we're just doing this strip off and I'm in a hand throw position. Okay? Most people will tell you, pull out and back. Okay? Not bad if I pull him and turn him at the same time, but I've got the problem with trying to get all these joints lined up. Now, I'm really trying to affect this. I want him to go down. I can't do that through the arm. I've got to lock all this up and do it. Okay? So I'm here, push into his ribs, and turn him down. Tell me how much effort that took to do on a hand throw. I mean, boy! Tell me how much effort that took to do. If I shove his elbow into his ribs, okay, and that's the important part there, not bad idea. Better idea. Okay. So one more time, just for posterity. Whatever it is that you get to this, you know, let's do that. I'm going to punch you. Okay. I don't like it with over. I want a little more active. So again, I want Byron to punch my face. What it is. Okay, and just drop. Let's try that. Let's just wrap it up here with this throw. The motion of the whirlpool takes less energy than a lot of throws. Keep one side out, it takes more energy than we just did. It's usually available to you earlier. Okay? You don't want to burn energy in a fight. You want to conserve energy, especially against multiple attackers. Just a better idea so that you've got a bigger tank and you're able to use these. At the beginning of the fight, I have a choice of throws. I can do whatever I want. Halfway through, I'm going, oh man. 30 seconds after that, it's like, okay, whatever. Throw something stupid. Hit me in the face. You're really burning out of energy, and that may be the only throw you have left. It's not going to be Tomonagi when you're sucking wind. Okay. What else did we talk about? Versatility, choice of landing. It's safer throw for beginners because a lot of this is you're not throwing the head, feet aren't coming off the ground, you're not locking up their knee when you're doing it. A lot of benefits to this idea of this group of throws. I hope you had some fun. I did. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
If you email me, if you don't have it, if you email me, I'll send this to you, because I'm supposed to have more copies here, and I have no idea where they went. Okay, and the first part was yesterday, and it's basically kind of self-training, takes the approach that you can do things to protect yourself from being a victim. I don't like the word self-defense for teaching self-defense classes, because self-defense to me means shit's happened and now you gotta do something to save yourself. And I would much rather be proactive about it and say there are ways to avoid it, there are things you can do without becoming paranoid, and if you have to defend yourself, there are some really relatively simple techniques you can do that will work very effectively. And I've taught this a number of times through the LA City School District, mainly to adults, to teachers, which are the worst group of people you can ever work with. I don't mean being a teacher myself, but teachers, if you're a teacher, you know that teachers can be the worst audience in the world because they've learned all their tricks from kids. As a teacher, you get some presenters that make an apple look exciting. They are that boring when they present, because they get into this educational theory, and they give you out all these handouts, and then one thing they do to teachers that I don't know if they do it in other professions, they give you handouts and then they read them to you, which is the most demeaning thing in the world, because that assumes you can't read. So anyway, and so there were yesterday we dealt with a number of things, proactive things you can do to avoid getting into situations, all the way from appearance, clothing, and how you drive, how you conduct yourself, into what I call verbal jujitsu, where a person may approach you in order to give you a distraction so they do something else, and you simply turn the table out with your response, a response that puts you in control of the situation. The person comes to you and asks you what time it is, either they want to distract you, so you look at your watch. If you have a pretty good idea of time it was, you can say, I believe it's about 1:20. Okay, not bad. Or you say, I don't know, but let's ask the person over here, and you've involved another person, they don't want to deal with two people, so you've messed up their plan to rob you or bug you. Today we're going to be dealing with the techniques that I would teach in such a course, okay? And the goal is to teach a few techniques and use them in a variety of situations, rather than teaching specific techniques for different attacks, okay? This is the same process that was used after the Rodney King deal in 1994 to reteach the LAPD. Rather than teaching a whole bunch of different techniques to officers for different situations, a lot of research was done. They found out what police would be confronted with 80 to 90% of the time. And they really cut the techniques down to about maybe 3 to 5 techniques for officers to learn that could be used in all these different situations. And that program turned out to be far more successful. And so the thing is, you don't need to give a lot of different tools. You need to give simple tools that can be used for a lot of different things. And that applies to, I'm sure, various other things in life. Okay, so we're going to start out, we're going to work with, what attacks we're going to work with. So we're working from attacks today. And we started out the other day with single or double wrist grab, okay? And let me I'll use Peter because, now, unfortunately, when you're training people like even in a martial arts class, you can't let people go whole hog because no one will come back. And for you, those of you who weren't here yesterday, I will always tell my students the first meeting, this is only going to be 10 to 15 hours worth of training. Any self-defense classes, maybe that long, or 20 hours. It's going to take you about a year of consistent practice before it becomes automatic. And once you get to that point, then it works. And you will lose about half your students for the next meeting because they say, a year? I thought I could pop a pill and it'd be all taken care of. Okay, we're going to take, and you don't bow. Counter, and bowing is not a safe thing to do with students. We're going to start with a single wrist grab, and I don't like static attacks. Okay, and you can teach this way. I would much rather have this person pull me so we can do some of micro stuff in wave. Okay, so all I'm going to do, because the day we did with turning your wrist. Okay, he's going to pull. All I'm going to do is turn. Okay, I'm close into him. My most appropriate thing to do at this point. Okay, and number two, you don't resist the person. You go with them. You help them. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is this hand is going to come back. I'm going to do a palm strike to his cheek. Okay. Get the release away and run like that. Okay. I'm dealing with California, which is you can only do what's necessary to protect yourself and remove yourself from the situation. If you're in another state, or you happen to go to 24-hour fitness and you have a lady that gets upset because you're sucking gas out of her gas tank and she wiped out 2 guys very beautifully. I mean, and she probably got away with it because she was a woman. And I'm not trying to be sexist, but there are different standards. But if you did that to 2 guys that were sucking gas out of your gas tank, you would probably be in jail. Okay, for assault. But in any case, it's California. What can I say? So he's going to grab, he's going to pull, you're going to come in and strike to the face. Okay? If you have to, if you want to, you can also come in and strike to the ribs or strike with the fist to the base of the ribs. Those will break easily. Okay? It's not a serious injury, it just hurts when the person breathes. Or moves. You're not concerned about that. Okay? Yes, sir. You need to get back to the middle. Okay, again, one more time. He pulls, you come in. Okay, you strike the cheek. When you come in, you're going to strike with your body to the ribs. Okay, finish the release, get away. Okay, another thing you can do, come back again. Okay, he's going to pull you in, just knee him. Okay. He pulls you in. These are all basic techniques from the other day. Okay, he pulls you in again. Ow, right up the middle. Okay, we're not teaching a lot of techniques here, but these are simple things you can do. He's going to help you. So what I want you to do, okay, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, what techniques did we teach? And you're limited to these. Okay, knee, okay, football kick, okay, just grab and turn your hand out. Okay, either way, I don't care. Okay. Finger thrust to throat. Okay. Middle finger is preferred. Thumb thrust. Guy's trying to kiss you slip your hands in the mouth and reach back, give him a Joker smile. That's a serious injury, by the way, that he will probably remember for the rest of his life. palm strike to the nose or cheekbones, those will fracture easily. It's not a serious injury. It's messy, it's bloody, it hurts. What else did we cover yesterday? Forearm strike. What's a forearm strike? Do we? Well, this is an elbow strike. Forearm strike would probably be if you pull me in. Okay, are you okay? Good. But what you do is I'm sorry. Okay, you have, the secret to, I'm not going to say the secret, you should know this as a martial artist. You always help your attacker. If he's going to pull me in, I'm going to go in full bore, turn my wrist, and come in with a strike. I want all of him, plus all of me hitting him, okay? I don't want to fight him and then have to hit him. That's work. Jiu-Jitsu people are incredibly lazy. Kneecap strike, okay? If you're going to go for the kneecap, coming in is okay. It's probably a lot easier just to come up and come down. It's easier to dislocate the kneecap that way. It takes 30 or 40 pounds of force, and a kid can do that. Okay? So if you're going to come downward, don't. This is more work. You got to go for a specific target. This you can be really sloppy with, and make a connection as high as you can go, and just rake your foot down, and it should slip the kneecap down, and that will solve his problem for a while. That's a serious injury. If he's trying to attack you or rape you, it's all relative. Okay, shin scrape. Really good if you have hard leather shoes on or hiking boots, something with hard rubber. Just go down the shin, heel. Okay. Notice I'm working down the body. Foot stomp. Okay. Foot stomp. You never go for the toes. The guy's wearing steel-toe boots. It doesn't work. Insteps never have protection. I have a pair of hiking boots. They're heavy duty. They're fiberglass on the sides, steel and fiberglass front, fiberglass. Instep, nothing. Okay. I mean, I could go up in wedges and in rocks, and you just plant your foot in and walk your way up. And you've got all this. It's got a steel shank. I mean, it's a solid piece. It's a solid step to walk your way up. But the instep on shoes has no protection. You go for the instep, it can break the foot. That's not a serious injury. What else do we have? Biting and scratching. Okay. Yesterday, we had a really great exercise for biting. Okay. And if you ever want to teach us, you go out and get some hoagie buns, and you have someone else hold it against their mouth. And the goal is you need to take a big bite and rip. Okay. Because a human bite is really very vicious. You get bit by another human, you get a tetanus shot. Okay. There are other things you can get, but that's the only shot they give you offhand. But there is a proper way to bite, and you basically do it like a pit bull bites. Okay, they grab and they start turning their head and ripping. Okay, it's a very serious injury, especially if you tear out a chunk of arm. Okay. You also have scratching. I recommend people keep their nails as short as possible. That way you can scratch until hell freezes over, and you're not going to lose your nails. Okay. I don't recommend poking in the eyes, because a lot of people will not do that. I don't want to blind him. That's such a cruel thing to do, even though he's going to rape me. Which, the connect doesn't fit. And the tail thing was, Michael said, was it Michael that said it yesterday or someone else? If it's, I'm going to rape you and kill you, and then I'm going to go after your kids, then a woman is saying, yeah, I'll go for his eyes. Because
It wasn't me yesterday.
Wasn't you? Who was it?
Anyway, I don't remember who it was, but somebody said
I usually recommend scratching across, and I have yet to find a person who can't do that. If you scratch their cornea, it's really cool. It's unless it's a deep scratch, it's not a serious injury. but it's extremely painful. The person can't see because it just hurts so much. They tear and everything, they go away, and that's really what you're after. Okay? The eye is the fastest repairing organ in the human body. In case you didn't know that. Okay? And it'll repair itself. I mean, I got a scratched cornea. Weak, maybe. It's all okay. Okay? So, nothing, or you take keys and put them in, you can go across. Okay? Scratched cornea is cool. Okay, so those are the attacks that you are limited to. Okay, so what I want you to do, your first attack, he's going to grab, he's going to pull, and you do whatever you feel like doing. Okay, turn your hand out. Okay, again, when you turn your hand out, you don't pull, you go in towards the person, and that allows you to turn your hand out. Don't use your arm because he can fight that. He can fight this, okay? You can't fight your hand. You can hold your arm as tight as he wants, and you're going to get out of it if you just turn it. Get up. I want the person to grab you one-handed. With one hand. I want them to grab you the other hand. And they're not going to, as the attacker, you're going to switch off. Don't tell this person what you're going to do, because that takes half the fun out of it. Okay? Grab one hand, grab the other hand, grab both hands, okay, and pull. Okay, now, so that we do not run into each other. If I were just keep turn there, but you're not going to do that. So that we don't run into each other, you're going to start at that end, pull towards this end. You get to the end, the person you're attacking has to give you $1 if they haven't done anything by that time. I'm only kidding. Okay, but you should be doing something before you get over here. Okay, very good. Let's see what happens. Single, double wrist grab, cross wrist grab. It doesn't matter. You have a tremendous martial arts background, and you can do all sorts of other things that would, be effective and work. But I don't want you to do them. I want you to keep it simple. Okay. Next attack is going to be a handshake. Now, why a handshake? Okay. For the uninitiated. Now, I'm left-handed. So I don't. So is Thomas. We don't care if someone holds our right hand. Okay. We're left-handed. Okay. However, if you're right-handed, your right hand is now trapped. Pow! Okay? You're in deep doo-doo. Okay? So you've got to get out of this grip. Okay? So what we're going to do, and this is where the forearm comes into play. Okay, I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see it. Okay? He made me a tight grip, or he's trying to hold you. Okay, what you've got to do is you are going to step in and you're going to smash him with your forearm. That's your first thing you're going to do. Cowl the nose. Okay? And if you want, you can step back, give him a kick for a good minute. Okay? To spend your time, I mean, there are other techniques we know that we can do. Okay? You get out of it, set this up, but you can't, if you're teaching a quickie course, you can't teach this stuff because there's a lot of basics that have to come before. But if you go with the person, again, the rule is, person is trapping you or holding you, you move into them. Okay? This is your distraction. Towel. Step back. Give them a kick. Okay? Then you're going to get out of it. If they're still holding on to you after you have kicked them in the groin, okay, they are on drugs. Okay? And it doesn't matter what you know, what weapon you have, you've got to break a leg. You've got to find something to break one of their legs with. And unfortunately, in the basic, quickly self-defense, counter-assault training class, you don't have the time to teach how to break a leg. Okay, it's doable, but okay. If they're on drugs, they're not going to feel the pain, but if they can't get up and chase you, that's what you're after. Okay, and I've seen police videos where the guy's been shot in the chest 3 or 4 times, and he's still coming after the officer. because he doesn't feel pain, and he hasn't bled out yet. So, again, handshake, he's shaking your hand, you're going to come in to strike, okay? His face is right there. You can hit, you can scratch, come back. If you're still close enough, you can knee. I prefer stepping back so you can do a very nice kick up the crotch. I'm not going for a love tap for the front, okay? That's something you don't have time to teach. And anyone know what a kick up the crotch is after?
For the side leg presses.
The what?
Piece of cartilage with the two bones together.
Right. The base of the pelvis, and the urethra goes through there. Okay. You fracture that, this person, it's a serious injury. This person needs immediate surgery. Yeah, it's going to getting kicked in the groin is going to be a tea party compared to this. Okay. It's extremely painful. It's debilitating. He's going to need surgery. Otherwise,
He can't walk.
he can't walk. Otherwise, he's going to have even more serious problems. Quickly. Okay. You are not being nice. And some people won't do this because, oh, that's worse than poking their eyes out. It's irrelevant. Okay, your concern is to protect yourself to survive. Okay, so gonna have a handshake. Let's go. Start at that end. Gonna go this way. Attacker. Okay. Pulling means to pull consistently. You're not gonna pull and wait to see what the person you're pulling is gonna do, because that's not what's gonna happen on the street. You're gonna pull until you get that person where you want them. Okay. You're going to drag that person until you get them where you want them. Okay? So whatever you do as an attack, you have to continue that attack for the whatever direction you're going. Okay? And if the person that you're dragging or pulling is trying to defend themselves, they will probably get done before you get to the end. Okay, we need to go to chokes. Okay, so let me borrow Paul. Okay. And chokes. We're going to start off with the front choke because, again, I don't want this to be a static choke. Okay? This is never going to happen on the street. Okay? This person is going to jerk you back and forth. Okay? Okay? And they're going to move, and you have, again, if you start resisting them, it's a real waste of energy. Okay? So what I want is I want some good aggressive jerking, because this guy is a jerk, he's afraid. Okay. That's cool. You're gonna come down, that's your forearm strike. If you try and go up, most guys are pretty strong, and this is a totally wasted effort. It's never gonna work. If you get down, he's in close to you. Oh my God, we got a face. We're gonna take that sucker, put him in, pull the back, and we can't turn this around here. Even if you can't put the base and just scratch across. Okay. If he's still standing, kick. Okay. If he's still standing, strike the nose. You can do this in any sequence. I don't care. Okay. But you go for the most obvious target. What you have to do, if you're going to attack him in return, is you need to get his head closer to you. Okay. Other things you can do for a front choke. Oh God. And where did you learn this technique? In kindergarten. If you have to go to the bathroom, raise your first finger. If you got to go number 2, raise two fingers. If it's too late, raise 3 fingers. Okay? So all it is, he wants to show you, just raise your hand and walk away. Well, we want you to be a little left. Okay, we're going to have you do the other one first, then we're going to come back and do this one. Okay? So we're going to modify this because on the street, you just want to raise your hand with 3 fingers or 2 fingers, or give him half a peace sign and walk away, because he's going to be upset with you and come after you. So you're going to need a little additional stimulation for him. Okay, so let's do the first one where he comes in, he's choking you, strike down, get the face, and just scratch across, or strike the nose, or knee him, or kick him. Okay? At some point, he's going to let go of you. Okay? Very good. Let's see what happens. We don't need to pull anybody this time. Just jerk him around. I think. And let me borrow Leo, because Leo. You get someone like Leo, you are going to have trouble.
The immovable object.
Okay? He's hard to throw. It's hard to get to his neck. He has a lot of challenges for martial artists, which is good. Okay, that's fine. He's going to be choking. One thing I think you did, or I think is what you did, you hit down and then he got closer and you did a strike. Okay, you came up with a bit. What we'll do is go for the larynx and just, if you want to go backwards, you push back. If you want him to go down, you push behind what's called the jugular notch and you push down and you go down. Okay. If you do it in streets, and that's if you just want to control the person, you're going to be nice to it. In a street situation, you're here, he pulls you in, and you don't even worry about it. If he's going to jerk you around, is he jerking you around? Okay. As he's jerking you around, I'm just going to go in and strike. And yeah, it may be fatal, but that's his problem. Okay. Right, you can always say my DNA is on his hands because he was choking me. And see the marks, okay? Okay, the other thing you can do is an elbow strike, okay? When we came up and did this, make a fist, palm is facing you, and you're just going to turn and strike below the ear like there's nothing there. Okay? You do this right, and you just put your full body behind it, he will not feel a thing. He will be out, but he won't feel a thing. Okay? Okay? You're going for the nerves right below the ear. Okay? And you just go as if there's, because obviously there is nothing up here. If there was something up here, he wouldn't be attacking people. Okay, so you just have to follow through like there's nothing there. Okay? So I want you to try both of those, and then we're going to go ahead. Then we're going to go to rear chokes. They don't drag on the floor with their long arms. Okay. If he comes in for front choke, that makes sense. There's no way I can really do this. I can't come in and do this. He's got a nice choke. You have to find a way to get into them. And if you can't get to his face, he's going to take his head and he's going to keep jerking you around. Okay, you got long legs. Just kick or come in with the inner thigh, either thigh. You've got to get something to get his face and upper torso closer to you so you can do this puppy. Okay? And don't be afraid to do it. Okay, that's the hardest thing. People, I don't want to hurt the guy. You've got it's not about hurt. And even with my jiu-jitsu students, I say your intention can never be to injure a person or hurt a person. But there is a difference between pain and injury. Okay? And you can create most jiu-jitsu people, black belts, even Leo knows as a purple belt, you can cause a lot of pain before you actually injure a person. Okay? And that's why all the martial arts have a very strong philosophy of nonviolence. Okay? You don't use it unless you have to. It's the most repulsive thing to have to do as a human being is to fight another human being. But you can kind of, there's a rationality that if you can create pain without injury, then you can defend yourself and you're not causing injury to this person. It's kind of a warped philosophical outlook, but it kind of like makes things reasonable, okay? And you know, having techniques done on you that, yeah, they can cause a lot of pain, and the moment the person lets go, oh, everything's cool, okay? So don't be afraid to cause pain. If it results in injury, it's usually going to be because this person was not cooperative and did not want to be helped, okay? But I've never had a student who is, well, I've had one student who through his own stupidity caused injury to another student many, many decades ago, okay? And that's the only incidents I've had in 47 years of teaching or something like that happened. And he was out of the class before the end of the class because it was inexcusable. But in any case, before I lose my train of thought here, you can cause a lot of pain. If he falls and hurts himself, fine. If he's resisting this and you happen to collapse his larynx, it's the way it goes. Okay. If you're in a life or death situation, that's the way it goes. Okay, because the alternative is that you could be the dead person. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, we're going to have chokes from the rear. Okay, and this is not going to be a forearm choke. This is choking this way. Okay. Now, when you're choking, since I've got first name again,
Scott.
Scott. There are a couple ways you can choke, and this determines to an extent what you do, more from the front than the rear. If a person is choking you from the front and they have their thumbs on both sides of the larynx, there is a technique that I learned in a person choking, and if they're crossed, the thumbs are crossed. Okay, you can supposedly pop the elbows in and come into a technique. If their thumbs are on each side of your larynx, this is not a smart thing to do. Okay, so I tend to stay away from that entirely. Okay, I do not want to deal with this issue and aggravate myself. But from the rear, you can cross choke or you can go this way. I actually like this one better because you're actually going for a couple of nerves more than a choke. You can bring the person down a lot faster this way. Then you can't try to choke them. Okay? But, you know, the idiot on the street probably doesn't know that. Okay? Okay, so this is what the attack is going to do. They're going to be choking you from the rear. Okay, and this is a little more challenging. Someone comes up behind you and they choke you. Okay, and I want you to bring the person back. I do not want to. We're going to choke you like this. Okay, this is a challenge because now you're being put off balance. Okay, so that's going to be the attack. Okay, he's easy talking. Now I can't do anything in this position. I have to turn around, and it's that easy to do. And guess what's available?
Slap him.
Palm to the, yeah, I want to see palm to the crotch. Okay. Okay, I can come in with a hit, lower abdomen area. I can come in with a strike to the larynx. Okay, I'm just using what I've been taught to do. Okay. I can raise my hand and get out, and that side is open. Okay. I can strike to the face. You've got all these options open depending on what position he takes. Okay. And that's something you really have to get across to your students is even in a jiu-jitsu class, even in karate, what you do depends on where the attacker is and what their body position is. Okay. Katas are fun. We have them in jiu-jitsu too. Everything's hunky-dory. On the street, this person is going to be moving. And you have to be able to deal with that movement. You can't tell him, you can't come around this way and say, put your head down a little more so I can strike it, you know, and turn yourself aside. You can't do that. You have to deal with what you have. Okay.
Can I have you turn Scott on this side? No, Scott on this side.
And
Yeah.
okay, back in. Okay, now see, I came around differently this time. Jiu-jitsu person, this is the way I'd probably prefer to come around. There are things I can do from here. I'm going to strike him in the face. He's open, strike him in the throat. He's open, knee in. Okay, so his position, his body positioning is going to determine what he can do. That's regardless of martial art or self-defense or counter-assault training or anything. That's the hardest thing to get students to realize. They have to know the techniques well enough to know what works when and where. Okay, and I know you know that too. Okay, so this is going to be a rear choke. Okay, first thing you got to do is turn around, and I want them, like I said, they're going to pull you and pull you. See, he didn't play fair.
He's just doing the defense. There's nothing wrong with that.
Did you not want me to do that?
Oh, you're fine. No, it's good because that's what you should be doing. Someone pulls you back, your reaction should be that fast. Okay? And he broke the grip before I had it set, the turkey. Okay? Okay, stand with your partner. Let's try some rear chokes. Rear forearm choke is done with one arm because we are not equipped with forearms. You work with junior high kids, they come up with this, how do we really have one arm? We don't have forearms. How can we do a forearm technique? They just give you a tough time, but that's life. Okay, this is the form technique. Okay, and if you want to be difficult, you can clench it, but that really doesn't add much to it. Okay, this is the attack. And again, you're going to have this person leaning back. Okay. Oh my God. What am I going to do first? I'm going to hit with an elbow. That should turn around and maybe break the grip. I have this here, okay? Because jiu-jitsu person, I am set for a shoulder lock. Okay? Every jiu-jitsu person knows, oh, this elbow against my chest, this is cool. But you can't teach people that fast, okay? So you're gonna come out and turn around and you're gonna, again, reach around and scratch across his face. Okay. He's open now. If you want, you can strike him, okay? Or you can hit him with a fist in the larynx, okay? Anything you want. He's open, you can knee him, okay? You've got all these things available. I know the techniques are getting boring. I mean, what you're doing is getting boring, but the thing is, if you have people practice the same moves over and over and over and over, manana, over and over and over, they become more automatic more quickly because they just automatically go into that. And that is what you're after. What you're trying to get your students to realize is that the attack is irrelevant. Okay, the attack is irrelevant. Unless they have a gun or knife. And that's a different story. Okay? But generally, if it's a body grab of some sort, the attack is irrelevant. You've got these tools. Which can you use when? Okay, and you will get opportunities to use 2 or 3 of them at least. Okay, so you have a rear arm forearm choke. I don't care whether you use 1 hand or 2 hands. You know, however you want to do it. That's up to you. Well, first thing is going to be an elbow in, or you can even come in. If you want, you can even come in and hit them this way. Okay. The problem with this way is that. What's the problem?
His arm's still on the throat.
Okay. What am I not doing? I am not facing him yet. Okay. I'm still in jiu-jitsu. I'm not worried about it. Okay. And I don't want to say ignorant, but an ignorant is in trouble still. Okay. You're going to have to hit him 2 or 3 times. Okay. Before you can get out. So that's the advantage of this, because if you hit and turn. You can now turn and face it easier. You're working his outside rather than trying to go to the inside. Okay? So I want a rear forearm choke. We're just going to give you a minute or 2. Again, this is all review at this point. It's just a different attack. Okay, let's go. One thing we forgot. Very important. You can't really do this if you don't want to get the guy's tea dirty. But how many of you have thought of biting?
Loaf of bread.
And just taking a mouthful of upper arm. Okay? Nothing like a raw, rare bicep.
It was Shark Week recently.
What?
Shark Week.
Yes, it was Shark Week recently on Discovery.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just turn it and bite if you can't get out. I guarantee you the person's going to let go. And you're going to have a sample of their DNA. Anyway, okay. If you're going to defend yourself, you need to sound like you are totally crazy. Okay?
Yeah.
No problem.
You need to sound, every guttural sound you can think of, every obscenity you can think of, referring to body parts in the grossest manner you can. You're trying to attract attention. Okay? And if this guy sees you, you've taken a part of his arm out. That's part of the attitude you have to successfully defend yourself. You have got to sound and look like you are crazy. Okay, intimidation goes a long way in this world. Okay, very good. Okay, next one because I'm running out of time. Rear mugging. Okay, a rear mugging attack. Let me borrow Paul for a second. The rear mugging attack is a little different. It's high on the stupid list of attacks, but it works very well for people who are stupider than the person doing the attack. Okay? And a rear mugging attack is this. Okay, person can't scream, they're being pulled back. Okay, so, okay. This is the attack. Okay, now, this is why you learn to fight. And this is why you learn to blow your nose, to spit, to throw up, all these other nice activities, because the guy does not want all this stuff on his hand. Okay? Yes, it's gross. That's what you're after, gross. Okay? So, but you still got to get out of this thing. Okay? Now, just for a second to tell you, the hand on your mouth is not a threat to you. All it's doing is keeping you from screaming fire. Okay? Don't scream help. It doesn't work. In Santa Clarita, it'll work, but you get into LA and you scream help, and people will run the other way. Okay, so this is what you got to get out of. This is the threat, okay, because that's what's holding you. Okay? Don't hold on. It's a turn of the hand. That's all it takes. Okay? You've got to step sideways. Try and pull out it won't work. Okay, what's open? Oh, cool. He's wide. I can hit him. I can go for the face. Okay, I can scratch. I can knee. Okay. Releasing yourself from the actual hold is secondary to doing some damage first so that you can get away safely. Okay? If you get away from him without doing anything, you take off and hey, life is good. But you don't want him coming after you. Okay? So you were stuck in this hold until you hit him a few times or did something else and he had to let go because he was in pain. Okay, that's your explanation. So again, he's here. Pull it up. Turn and retreat. From here to here. It's wide open again. Wacko, wacko, neo, strike-o. Okay, do whatever you have to do. Don't wait to see if something works. Immediately go into something else and repeat it. Okay? When he lets go, then you know, when you decide it's time for you to let him to let go of you, then you let go and you run like hell. Okay? It's okay to repeat stuff. Okay? Get up. Want some nice work. Put your hand over the mouth. Just a little fun thing, and you can't think of anything else. And 3-bar Peter here. And this was, I think it was, yeah, it was Seki who taught this one. Or was it Alpha, one of the two. And this is for a front bear hug. We can use it in almost any situation where you can grab some skin. There's skin on it. Okay, now, and that is, if they've got a bear hug or something like that, you can just come in and grab the skin right in here, okay? And you don't need to, after a whole punch, you just need to get the skin, and then you just dig in. Just dig in, and if you can, then bring your hands this way, and they will open up for you like a book. Like, so I said when you get here, you had a hand here, so grab, okay, and you can turn in, don't pull away, that doesn't work. You can turn in, or you can twist. Okay, twist your thumb away, not towards you. I only do this once to a person because, you know, they know what the effect is going to be, and I'm not into having Peter going home with a bunch of black marks all over his forehead. That's hard to explain. Okay.
And teeth marks.
Front rear bear hug. Okay. Front, we already showed you. Okay, front bear hug. Okay. Or rear on. Well, let's do front for the front. We'll let you work with both. Okay, front bear hug. Over the arms. Okay, that's good. Oh, wacko time. Okay, now again. Take a step back. If he hasn't let go of you, come in again. Okay. Just come as many times. Start kicking with me. Don't try and go for the head because he's too close into you. You've got to pull it off, and that's work. Okay, and we're lazy. So you just keep working away at his crotch. Okay, until it becomes crotchety. Okay. Okay. And then when you feel you can get away safely, or he has gone down to the ground, then you get away. Okay. Rear bear hug. Okay. It's a little different. Okay, because You've got to kneecap, shin, stomp, and just keep stomping until you get turned around. Once you get turned around, now you can go for his face. Okay. So front bear hug, it's going to be totally crotch shots. Okay. Rear bear hug, go for the shin, stomp, you turn around and you go for the face. Okay, don't worry about down here, because you're really not going to be in a position for it unless you take a step back. And if you can take a step back, you can go. You can go. Okay, so I want you to do a couple rear bear hugs, a couple front bear hugs. And if you want, you can do this one too. That's not in because but I'm getting bored with these techniques too, so I want to use something else. Anyway, so that's easy to do. Okay, so find a partner. We're running out of time, so I just want to show some techniques for a hit. Okay. And again, using the same thing. There are a lot of different approaches to blocking. Usually the person's hitting, they're obviously trying to go for the face. You do not want to get hit in the face. That is not a good thing to have happen, because most people, and for those of you that are martial artists, most of us have been hit in the face a few times. And we have an idea of what it feels like. Okay, and I'm not saying you should advocate to your students, stand there and let me hit you in the face so you know what it feels like, because you can have a lot of upset parents and lawsuits and stuff like that. But if you've been hit in the face once or twice, okay, and you have an idea how the impact feels, you don't get as what? Panicky about it. Okay, you know, this has happened before. Okay. And you can react a lot faster. Okay. When I used to teach this in junior high jiu-jitsu, if I didn't get hit in the face at least a couple times a semester, something was wrong. Kids would get lucky shots in. Okay, it happens. Okay, but is it really, you know? Yeah, I'd get some cut lips, and you know, it happens. And kids are really feel bad about it. The teacher is going to suspend me. Well, this is the only class where you can hit the teacher and you don't get in trouble. But you know, but what it did was it kind of desensitizes you to being hit in the face. Okay, and that's, you know, that's the plus side. I mean, it's like any job where there's a physical strain on your body or you have to work hard. You know, your body gets used to it to an extent. Okay, for a hit. You got to teach them how to block somehow. And it doesn't need to be a hard block. You just need to move that hit a couple inches so it's away from your face. Okay. Okay. And this is going to come in, and you again same thing. You can grab and knee in. You don't want to come in. You can kick, strike the nose. Okay. You've got all these options open to you. The same techniques work if you can block the hit. Okay. Same techniques work. For a kiss. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Now, I don't know where a lot of things are made out of plastic today rather than metal. Okay. For women, if you have a lipstick case and you just take the cover off and it's metal and you put it in your hand, this is a really good thing to hit a guy in the face with, because he's going to be easy to identify. He's going with a hole in his cheek, you know, or cut. Okay. Plastic ones don't work as well. If you have a makeup case, compact, and Hal Brocious had a female student who one guy tried to pick up in a bar. He taught her this routine. She just took out her, was going to fix her face for this guy. So she was leading him on because he's being a total, whatever you want to call it. And he gets really close to her, and she gets really close to her, and she takes the compact on his lips. And she let him, with that, she took him to the bouncer and said, "He's got a problem." Okay. And she had literally cut through most of his lip with it. And it was really bleeding. But again, it's having the presence of mind. Okay. Women have a lot of cool stuff in their purses that can be used as weapons. It's just an awareness of it. And the other thing is, you have, as I said yesterday, you have to have it in your hand. If it's not in your hand, guys attacking you, you cannot take your time to rummage through the purse, which is a black hole of Calcutta. I don't know my wife's purses. I mean, they are heavy. You can kill a person with one of them, but try and find anything. It ain't gonna happen for 10
It
minutes.
sets off the car seat person indicator.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Okay. Kiss. Hey, I'm not gonna kiss you. I have better things to do in my life. Okay. If you're in a situation where you need to lead this guy on, and there are times when you are going to have to lead the other person on simply to put yourself in an advantageous situation, keeping in mind that he is the attacker and he is attacking you. Okay, rape is not a sexual act; it's an act of violence. Okay, trying to beat you to death is an act of violence. Okay, what you're going to do is an act of violence. Okay, but the rules don't apply anyway. You're going to bring this poor guy in. Okay, oh, sweetheart. Okay, and you're going to take your thumbs and slip them, turn it this way. You're going to come in, take your thumbs, slip them inside his lips. Okay, don't have your thumbs out. Come inside his lips, and you're going to reach back towards his ear real fast. Okay, it will solve his problem. Okay, he will be easily identifiable. It's a serious injury. Okay, he will have a Joker smile, but it works. Okay, but you've got to have the willingness to do that. I mean, if the alternative is being raped or killed, what is your alternative? Okay.
It seems like something really good to do if they're on top of you and you.
Yeah, and he's
Right?
Yeah. Now, take one more minute, and this will make the gentleman feel uncomfortable. If if we had time, we would work on butt thrust, which I know of 2 instances where it's resulted in fatalities to the guy. Girl's in bed, the guy gets on top of her. Once she put the guy halfway through a window, and he bled to death. The other one, she had a headboard, and the impact apparently from the butt thrust, taking him up and over her, broke his neck, and he was done with it. That was, but we don't have time for that. If there's also what is known as a testicle grab, if the guy's all excited and he has an erection, we're all adults here, has an erection, if you just reach down and grab the testicles and give a real fast squeeze, guys, what it will do is put the guy in catatonic shock for about half a minute. The rest of him will go rigid. I don't know about that particular extremity, but the rest of him will go rigid. Okay? You have got about half a minute to get out of the house, or out and away from this guy. And if it gets to that close, I mean, you literally have nothing to lose. Okay? But you have to get him to trust you where he is going to let you have one hand free. That's the catch. Okay? So again, you have to lead him on. And that's a sad thing, and it's a hard thing to say. You know, I'm a man. I can say it's a hard thing to say, but I'm not a woman. I know the decision to do that is unfathomable to me. Okay, but it's your life. Okay, what you're doing is not going to kill him. It's just going to give him a remembrance for half a minute. Okay, very good. Okay. We are going to take a 5-minute break, and we're going to come back, and then Thomas is going to be doing shoulder grabs. Okay? And I want to thank you very much. I hope you got something out of this. And that's it for me. It's going to be Thomas Salander, who's going to be doing the shoulder grabs. And so I'm going to turn the time right over to him because time is short. Very good.
Salander.
What did I say? Salander.
Salander.
All right, so
I know this in 50 seconds.
a lot of jokes about what we're going to teach, and we're going to break it down to front and rear. I'm going to use your start, and so he's going to do shoulder grab, right?
And my first defense is that because he didn't grab my shoulder. And this is one of the habits that we get into in class is shoulder grab. That's not a shoulder grab. That's somebody saying, yeah, good job. So the point I'm making by saying that, I'm not going to have you practice that one. The point I'm making, though, is we get into this habit and we think, well, he put his hand on my shoulder, like he did before, and now I got to do something. And no, all I have to do is step away. That's the simple part. And right now, he's facing me. This is easier. I got a good sense of who he is, what he's doing, what his demeanor is, what might be going on. So it might be as simple as, that was a great class, don't you think? Yeah, it's good. Okay. All right. He grabs my shoulder now. Now he grabs my shoulder. And as soon as I asked him to do that, his demeanor changed, even though we're friends. I saw it in his face. So I'm just going to come up, around, and down. He's given me the arm. All I have to do is come up against his elbow, and it's a circular motion, up, down. Okay? Simple enough? Okay, thank you, Peter. Let's try that one. And we're starting from very simple. I have only 2 throws in this whole thing. But we're going to work through a variety. So actually, it's true, I was going to teach how to grab the shoulder. So now he escalates a little bit. Now he grabs my shoulder. And again, that just asked him to do that. And I can see the demeanor now. He's got his fist up. Well, I'm not worried about this. He's not hurting anything. I do not buy a Marnie. He punches. I got a block. Okay, yeah. And then I'm just going to ricochet over here, catch the back of the tricep. And it's basically the same move, but now it's my left arm doing most of the work. So he grabs, I come in and I block, come over to the back side of the tricep, roll the whole thing over, and he goes down.
Yeah.
Much longer for this. And then block gently so I don't keep hitting that same spot on his arm. Come to the back of his tricep, roll it over, and drop it back. Okay? All right, try that. Got it, funny bone, okay. Just to, the reason we're reaching over and grabbing the tricep, he may not have a gi, he may not even have a shirt. The last thing I want to try to grab is jersey. That's useless material for us. So I want to grab meat and pull that around. There's always going to be something there, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to grab my shoulder. Now this time he's going to cross, he's going to grab my opposite. That one? Yeah. Right. And he's going to punch. I'm going to cross block. And I'm just going to step back. No. I'm already up against his elbow. Okay. You need it both sides?
Yeah.
Okay, so he crosses. He punches. I cross block. I'm up against his elbow. And down. I want to step back, use my legs, strong muscles, set of muscles. Questions? Simple. The advantage here is I can see them. I know what's going to happen. Okay? Good. Let's try that. Last one, then we get to see what's happening first.
Their system doesn't have that.
So that's the warm-up. That's the easy part because I can see what's going on. And we started off with rear grab, where he just sets his hand on my shoulder, right? Well, that's my escape. But there's a reason for wanting to do this. This is much more important because I don't know what's going on at this point. Before I could see him, I knew who it was. I knew which hand he was holding me with. You do this enough, eventually you get a sense of which hand it is, but you don't know anything else. And I have been grabbed this way by friends, where they're trying to get my attention. So what I don't want to do is, let's switch left to right. What I don't want to do is, man, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were one of my students. So we need a little bit of reaction time. The important thing is, he's got me like this. He's going to pull me back. I'm going to come up with my hands up. At this point, it's similar to what Sensei was saying earlier. Now I'm facing him. I've got some sense of what's going on. It might be he's just, I'm sorry, somebody's hurt. We need you to come in and sign the papers. Right? That's all that the instructors do anymore. But I don't know. Once I get to this position, that's fine. But I need my hands up. Because if he comes in and he grabs that and he punches, there we go. All right, now we can do something. So the first one is going to be, he's going to be left to right, and he's going to pull me in. I got a block. My right hand's coming in and circling. I was going for Udiguruma. He gives me something that's even worse for him. Step back. I continue that circle. There we go. So my motion is just going to be continuous around in a circle. Don't stop and retreat. Switch. And that's it. No. Sorry, it makes a difference. I knew you got to grab and hang out. This one. I have to start thinking of Okay. Questions?
Circular's good.
Pardon?
Circular's good.
Circular's good, yes. I actually made him some notes on that. Just trying to pay attention where it was a continuous circle versus where we go one way and then we go back the other way. So it's not on every one. It's not something. All right, let's try it. Expected. Let me click on biome so I can pick that here enough. So it's going to be the same. His left is going to grab my right, and he's going to pull me around. My hands are going to come up, and he's punching. He's punching. Okay, fine. I deal with this. And now this hand, instead of going over, this hand comes under. And I'm stopping because I don't want to ram his head into the cabinet.
You're so nice.
You just got through saying I was mean.
It's a gentle art.
Yeah. So okay, I gotta get it. Okay, so he grabs, he pulls me back, my hands are up, good. I come up underneath, up under his elbow. This is actually similar to the one we did facing. I'm catching here, pulling that, I want his shoulder right into my stomach, and then step back, and I'm stopping here, even though the little tape marks say that's where I'm supposed to be standing. Oh, I can throw him this side. There, good, up and around, catch, and he pulls out. Smart jujitsu. Okay, questions? So this is one where you start and then you reverse the circle and go the opposite direction. But it's also going to be easier. This is going to be a better one for you against him. The other one would be a good one for you against him.
And they start the same way where we're grabbing right side, left side, opposite?
Yeah, grab it. And it doesn't, I just put it down so I'm saying left grabs right, and you really both. It's just meaning grab opposite side. Okay? All right, let's do that. Right to right. Yeah, right to right. Straight grab. Find our spots. Good. Again, this is the disadvantage the advantage for him is I don't know what's going on. And I may not even know what hand he grabbed with, but he grabbed, so I come up. This is the end, right here, because I just hyperextended his elbow, and I can get out. I don't have to do anything fancy. He grabs, I come up, well, I missed, well, I didn't let go. I didn't get the hyperextension, he saw it coming. No, come on. I didn't, where's the punch? I was expecting a punch. Well, he grabbed him to grab a different way, but I got that elbow, and he's gonna let go or he's gonna go down to the ground. Very simple. And it's not that you think, this is a technique I'm gonna do. You go up, your hands go up. You turn, and as you turn into it, the situation then evolves and you figure out, now where do I go? And in this case, I don't have to do anything because I already did it, just in the act of turning around. Okay? Okay, let's try it. Okay, so we're going to play with that one some more. Mostly because we want more fancy techniques. Okay? So it's the same thing. He's grabbed right to right. My hands come up, I turn around. This time my hand goes over. Don't face that. Don't turn your head, thank you. Okay.
Don't look at me.
You do not deserve to look at me.
So I could hyperextend it. I'm going to come around. This time I go over, entangle his arm, and I can keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. No, look the other way, please. Thank you. All right. And then we've got a grip hold. Now we ask him what was the message he was trying to deliver.
Pizza's ready, sir.
I'm with Publishers Clearinghouse.
Salander party for your tape.
Okay, let's try that one.
Oh, thank you very much.
If my choice was right down the middle, that was the arm bar, I went over, what do you think the next one's going to be? I'm going to go under right. So now he's grabbed, he hasn't pulled. I'm just, no, he's just grabbed me. It's like, what? But I'm coming around. Come in this way, to the other side. So I'm going under. Come around. Oh, there's no punch there. Come under to this other shoulder. And drop him that way. And as he's falling, because he's so used to this, he's pulling out the survey sheet, asking if the service was good for the pizza delivery. You want the other side? So he's grabbed me, but he hasn't pulled. I'm stepping around. I didn't necessarily go the way I thought I was going, but I come under. And this technique, most of you know, is just the saw across the tricep or trapezius, and they'll fall down. If you want to add other heel palm to the small of the background, they can do. Okay? Thank you. What's going to happen when I do this one? Back in yeah, and we are still right to right. He doesn't pull. Now, it's right to right in the notes, and the little guy who reads the script, but I don't know that. And I turn the wrong way. Oh dear, this is not good. We come up, and we've done that one before.
Yeah.
The bad part about this is because I've turned in here, I'm rolling into his grip. And we can go either way. Come in and under, around, reverse it. This is a little stronger than trying to go over. And particularly if their arms are short, because I'm running out of arm here to work with. Trying to go over is tricky. Come up under, brace, bring this in, and step back, and I'm not going to drop them again. Both sides. Okay. So again, I don't know. He's grabbed. He hasn't done anything, but I'm going to turn. I haven't turned into him. So I'm coming around, catch, bring that into my stomach, and then step back, take him to the ground. Or if we stop here and we just lean to the face, we can work. If he's got buddies, I don't want to take him to the ground. I just lean to the face. And we like this, but this is, I did it in reverse order. But Byron and I about the same size, so that's why I went on. And that would be a good one for you. But he's got longer arms, so if he does this, I'm going to come up and I can go over and catch. He let go. Even if he lets go, you're fine. I'm bracing and stepping back. So I rolled into his arm. His arms across my back. It doesn't matter. Let's try it. I think he wants to see it. So I come up and I go over and catch. And now he's not hurting. Right? I step back with my right to take him down. Yeah, and I could roll
Doesn't work.
Well, because his arm's all the way across my back, if he really hangs on, all I've got to work against is this part right here. If he really just drop it in, then we can come into that one way. I'm not going to depend on that one. So that's a bonus if he actually tries to get out of it. So many of the attempts to get out make it worse. I love that part about Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, questions? Okay. You may find there are only a couple of people here besides Scott.
With long arms?
Yeah, with long enough arms that you
and
can do
long.
this against.
Well, you're taller than me. Let me try this.
Paul? So we switched left grabs left, and the only reason I did that is so we didn't
Just a
keep
warning.
playing with the same side all the time. So he's going to grab my left. Left to left, right. And I'm going to step out and back and in. So he hung on, and because of the way I stepped, I'm stepping forward, back. I'm just continuing around in a circle. I'm getting him forward by my forward step and turn. That gets him to bow, and then I continue back around just to the back of the head and push. One of my students. Yeah, loves that. Female grad student. It's just nice. She's going to be scared. Okay. Not particularly elegant, but effective and very simple. Okay? Everybody now knows what's coming, so be prepared. So don't slam into the back of their head. On the street, you would do that. Here, you're going to just come up and push and keep going. All right? Okay. Now, most of the ones we did up to now, there hasn't been an attack. And that's the bad part about this. It's the good part for the attacker, because we don't know what's going on. We can't assume there's an attack, because there really are situations. The only time anybody's ever grabbed my shoulder is never an attack. And, yes, really. I don't do this for a living. I actually have an office job, so people grab your shoulder.
Do you have that report?
Yeah, right.
Is you violate with your TPS report?
That's right. So there hasn't been an attack, and actually they didn't even pull. If they pull, there's a better shot at figuring out what's going on. But that's why you've got to be able to sense this. Okay, situation once I've turned around and looked at it. Because I don't know. This next one I'm going to know. So his left hand is going to grab my left. And now he's going to attack because he's going to try to do a forearm choke. All right. So I got lucky. My hand got up there first. Okay? That's actually fairly simple. So he comes in, and if I'm quick, I sense what's coming up, I'm going to block this. I'm catching this hand, stepping out, twisting the hand, and he's on his toes, which generally means I've got control. Right? I don't have to go anywhere from here other than to say, are you delivering the pizza? Why are you trying to do a forearm choke? Okay? Questions?
What if you don't get your hand up in time?
That's the next one.
Okay.
But we can do that one now. We might have 10 minutes of meditation to do, but we can do that. So I don't get that. Okay, now I've got problems. So I'm going to go "Ay!" and drop into this, and everything else is the same. Okay? I mean, we've got lots of techniques against a forearm choke, but just to go with the same flow here. He comes around and he gets it. I'm not quick enough. I go, yeah! Catch. And up. And he gets it. Grab. And out. And up. Okay? So you can do both. We don't have to stop it. I do not want somebody taller for this. So it's going to be same attack. Okay? That's going to be left, 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 right? And you're going to attempt to do a forearm choke. Come up, around. This hand goes high. Hang on. Pull that down. And I'm not going to go to the back of his head. He stands up.
I'll let you take that fall, dear.
Either one works. And it's, this is a dance, and I'm moving to his cues. So if he continues to go forward, then I'm going to slam his head. If he stands back up, then we're going to go the other direction. It's not, I'm picking this technique and I'm going to make it work no matter what. It's just a repertoire of, okay, what do I do if he goes this way, I go that way, and it's a dance. So he grabs, he attempts, but I step out. It doesn't matter. I come up, pull down, and then back. Need that for the second.
Yeah, why not? It's probably a good shot from the other side too.
Comes in, step out. This hand goes high and then pulls down on the elbow. As he comes back up, I come up under, and I'm catching under his chin in the crook of my elbow. So, take it back. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's try that. Everybody's getting worn out. I don't know. So we're going back to be consistent. Start facing this way. Left, left, or left, yeah. And he can attempt that. It doesn't matter. I'm going out this way. My hand's going under, across, and I sweep. Okay, get to throw a bench right. He grabs, and nothing out there. Anything happens there. So I step out, go under, across, in, sweep. Okay? One more tool in the. Okay. He's going to grab left. Left, left. And I'm going to step in this way, and he punches. Okay, not a good thing. Step in. I'm there. Might as well. I'm in. My hands are up. Block. This hand now grabs. This comes in. I've got to step forward. Just for good measure. Right. do not, if I ever dropped anybody on concrete, I doubt I need to get any follow-up. Yeah, go in this way, and he doesn't do anything. I grab, step in. Okay. Questions? Thank you, sir. Okay, this one's actually really similar to it, so we'll do a double, and then I got one more, which isn't even a shoulder grab, but comes out of this. So he's going to do a double grab. Yeah.
Try to double grab.
Double grab. Dumbest thing in the world he could have done.
Is this a Ralph Lauren?
Huh? Yeah, right. Okay, I have so many options now, but I just step back in a groin shot and come around just for the hell of it.
Let's go back to the side.
So I step back, groin shot. He can't do anything to me. I know where both of his hands are. So I'm going to step going, come on under, and most likely they won't roll out of that. Okay? Good. I mean, you could kick, stomp on their feet. You got so many things that's almost silly. We get the book out and we say, do you realize how many things I could have done to you? How stupid that technique is?
Next time, only one hand.
Right. Okay, anybody gonna do that one? Not even? Okay. So the last one nobody's gonna do either, which is, comes out of that, but he's just gonna grab my collar and pull back. Right?
Give a chance.
I don't care.
All right.
Yeah, he grabs the collar and pulls back. And that's my technique. That's my defense against grab the collar and pull. That's why we spend so much time learning to roll and fall. I have not had any students actually attack. I have had students fall and say, I am so glad I learned falling in jiu-jitsu class because they protected themselves from serious injury. So the technique that gets used the most with my students is learning that.
Skateboarding to the gym in the dark a few months ago. Face plant, saved me. His loud ki, and it scrapes here and all, but I landed on a manhole cover, so my teeth could have popped out. But giant ki.
Yeah, more noise the better. Okay, so I've run out of material. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thomas mentioned that you chose first one, concrete. He probably wanted to do a submission, and he's pretty accurate. I've talked with other sensei, and they're pretty consistent that if the first is thrown with hip toe, tai tosha, any variant thereof, they're going to get 2 out of the 3 in concussion, a dislocated or separated shoulder, or broken ribs. And it's usually at least 2. And the reason being, you guys all know the reason.
They don't know how to land.
They don't know how to land. Okay? So you didn't hurt them. They just should have taken the martial arts class where they learned how to land. Okay. So, have a good evening, and I shall see you tomorrow morning. Touch one another. You're escape. All right? Take care.